Coming off a bit of a muted session yesterday, we're seeing futures back in negative territory following 3 straight days to the upside. A bit of a pause overall for this market bounce following news of this Omicron variant that we got last week. Further data suggesting that not only are the symptoms possibly very light, but it's kind of encouraging markets to digest this a little bit better, and the overall impact or possible global economic impact may be light as well. We just got initial jobless claims there, guys, 184,000 versus 215,000. That's kind of hard to see, but 184, 215 expected there for weekly jobless claims in the U.S. last week, so a little bit below what was expected. Overall, though, the market, as I said, a little bit to the downside here this morning. We've seen quite the bounce back in tech shares. We'll have a look at Apple coming back off of 2 straight days in record high territory. GameStop shares, obviously, on watch this morning as well to the downside, but is it enough coming off of that report? We'll talk about GME's earnings here. And Lucid, big move down here, 5% in negative territory following debt raise for them. Some senior notes being offered for LCID. It's Thursday, December 9th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at how things are shaping up so far. Pretty red top to bottom. 0.4 for the Dow leading at this point. The NASDAQ actually, when last I looked, it was the Dow leading. 0.42 for the NASDAQ right now. The S&P following suit. TSX futures here in Toronto about the same, 0.3. Brazil's open trading down a full percent. Negativity top to bottom there for all of the markets we are watching so far. Going to be an interesting day here. Again, that number a little bit worse than expected there, guys, on the initial jobless claims. Good morning. It is Thursday. A lot of little teeny tiny stocks flying around here this morning. IINN just about to take out pre-market highs. We have this PEAR, P-E-A-R, also starting to rip back to the upside. But interesting look here shaping up so far this morning.
Yeah, one of those I was looking at. I should have been looking at PEAR. Why not? That's a pretty cool name. Looking at ENSC, Lucid, with their raises you mentioned. And GameStop, look, let's sort of get this one out of the way. Like you saw, like what's a list of names? Like DocuSign with monster moves after earnings. You saw CRM go down like 10%. Stitch Fitch was like 20% yesterday. Yeah. If you reported the loss that GameStop reported, and it wasn't GameStop, and it wasn't all retail holding it, in addition to giving zero details about the turnaround, and on top of that, not answering any calls, no Q&A after the fact. Like, those are the kinds of things that you'd expect in this market, that you'd be down like 15 or 20%. But the truth of the matter is, you know who's, you got to understand who's holding shares, right? And when it's a bunch of, when it's going to be retail that wants to just stick around and say I'm not giving it up, then the reactions will be a little bit different. So that's going to always temper the expectations, because it would have been easy to think we should be gapping down 10-15% when you consider the way some other negative earnings have gone here today. But it's been an interesting week. It's been a fun week for sure. I'm going to say the number because it's not going to happen today, but 182.86, because everyone is looking at when Apple's going to be $3 trillion. I'm going to go way on a limb and say it's not going to be today, but stranger things have happened. That's not happening.
No, it's not happening. I mean, Apple's on my list today for 176. We need to break out 176, so we're not really going to touch Apple too much today. New Bank is on here. I just called up Apple right here. 176 is yesterday's high. So if we break through yesterday's high, then we'll take it. But the market's down 0.5% right now. So I don't really want to short Apple. I mean, you do have a short here if you wanted it. Basically right now, a 174 break looks pretty sweet for Apple. But here's New Bank right here. It's going to come through. Warren Buffett, 10-cent backed. We talked about this yesterday. So, again, another fintech name coming through. And we're just going to see. We just saw the CEO there on CNBC for some reason. I guess was wearing a jacket indoors.
Poofy jacket.
Yeah, poofy jacket. So I don't know if that's channeling his inner Seinfeld there with the Gore-Tex, whatever that was. But there's New Tech right there, New Bank, sorry. Looks like it's going to be a good one, man. I'm into New Core, so that's a steal. And now we're going to be into New Bank today at some point. So I don't know, man. I mean, we should put a poll up and say over under if this thing opens up before 1 p.m. I mean, I have no idea. It's been a rocky road for these things for opening. So hopefully it can come through.
12:47.
You know what? I'm going to be positive here. I'm going to say it happens before we end this show.
It's been a while since we've had a good one that actually.
Like a cliffhanger, you know? I mean, if I tell people that, maybe they'll stay on.
Yeah, stick around. We're going to trade the IPO.
Yeah, for sure. Happening about 10:25-ish or so, Brendan.
One of the final large IPOs of the year. Yeah, coming through today. That's NU. On the NYSE, should be a good one. Before we get into things, Miss V has taken her place to my left. Good morning.
Good morning, team. I wish you a wonderful start of this trading day. Please enjoy the show and make sure to like this video. Let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, lots to discuss here, including this new bank. We'll get to that in, it's actually New Holdings. NU Holdings is the corporate name, I guess, but New Bank is the operational name. Let's talk about Twitter out of the gate here, and cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin specifically, and also Tesla, because Cathie Wood was on CNBC this morning, if you caught her, talking about a few things, including Twitter and the role that Twitter might end up playing in the NFT space. That got Twitter back into positive territory while she was speaking there. But she was also talking about a few other things, including Tesla, obviously saying it's way undervalued at its current price. And she was talking about that institutional money coming to Bitcoin, guys. There it is again. It's Neil and I were talking about this. It's probably the third or fourth time we've heard 500,000 for Bitcoin when institutions are able to jump in.
Yeah, definitely not the first time we've heard that exact number. It's odd. You mentioned all of those things, and then the one thing that wasn't said there, I'm sure she talked about it, was the new ETF, man. It's the I want to get it. It's a CTR. I put it on my list. The CTRU. So it's, I guess, her version of the ESG, environmental social governance, and all about transparency. She's saying. I think that's where true comes from. So look, Twitter's going to get a bit of a bump. Like my Twitter chart literally crashed like the second you brought that up. So we can go to Sean's. I was trying to fix that wick that you see. Pull up Sean's chart. Yeah. So I was literally fixing that wick. But look, Twitter. That's been a play of Cathie Wood's for a while, and it's been a bit of a beat up name. And look, they have a lot of issues to solve when it comes to monetization first before you even get there. You start talking about their role in NFTs. And I think, ultimately, I'd like to see it, Sean's chart's up there, I'd like to see it breaking out above that 48 range before we get like a terribly excited on the daily chart. It's got some room to run, but it's one of those depressed names. It's actually broken the bottom end a little bit here. It just wanted to break that next consolidation. I'm interested to see what happens with this new ETF. It's done no volume here at only 40,000, this CTRU. But again, ESG is all the rage, and it does not surprise me one bit that she's going to step into that game as well. And because she's popular, I'm curious to see the performance of it. It's only the first day, and like I said, no true volume right now and no range to trade off of, but certainly one to watch.
Yeah, I think Twitter is an absolutely terrible stock, to be honest with you, man. I mean, I just see someone talking about that in here, and I stole what they said. Ted Tates, what's up, Ted Tates there? Twitter is a terrible stock, and I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, Twitter came out, it's below its IPO price in 2015. It's below, right? It was like $45. And I mean, you're getting a bump today, but we looked at this. We pulled this back to a weekly chart. It's been an absolute cash burn, money wrecker. You've been sitting, I mean, I own some shares in this name, and it's been an absolute disgrace. I mean, it's been horrible, and I don't think it's going to be any better. And I mean, if Cathie Wood has to talk it up to get this thing just back to like, I don't know. What are we even down this year on this name? Like, actually, if you go back to January, so if you go back year to date, this stock was $54 January 1st or so in here, and then yesterday or 2 days ago, you're at 42. So this has been a huge cash burn even since Dorsey left. I mean, this thing is still going to the downside. Some people thought that it was this day right here where you had not that spike, this spike up to 54. We were up like 14 or 15%, and we were like, no way. And then that was like the highest it's ever gotten in a long time here, back to October. And then now you're struggling at the bottom. And you know what? Look, it's just like Cathie Wood says. She called 500,000 when Bitcoin was at 69,000. So of course she's going to say the same thing now when you're at 49,000. And I am a Bitcoin bull. But I mean, Cathie Wood is literally, and she's my aunt and everything like that. I love Aunt Cathie. But I mean, the point is not really. But the point is that, I don't know anybody else that talks up their book probably more than her. And that's right. I mean, she gets paid by guys like us going in there and buying her ETFs. So, you know, she's obviously a huge holder of Bitcoin, is going to look a lot smarter when this thing starts to go up. But for right now, Bitcoin's stuck down here. And of course, she's going to talk it up. I mean, what if she said, oh, I don't have faith in Bitcoin anymore. I don't really feel like it's even going to get to 100,000. I mean, then she's going to send it down. So I just feel take what these experts and all that say with a grain of salt, because ultimately, a lot of them are just jokers, and you know they talk up their own game, and let's just see where it goes. She's super smart, and the ideas are amazing. It's just, of course, she's going to say Tesla's undervalued. Of course, it's like way undervalued. Like, I mean, what we can even look up, and I don't
be way undervalued.
That's what I mean. I don't have Tesla's PE in front of me or anything like that, but we've seen what Tesla's been doing on a daily. Of course, this is Twitter's daily chart. We've seen Tesla, man. I mean, it's $1,200 these highs, and is that way? I mean, if it's way undervalued now, then I mean, what was it back here at $850 on October 20th? So like a month and a half ago, you're down to $850. That is what? Extremely undervalued. And then it goes up to $1250, and now we're just sitting here pretty undervalued. So I don't know. I take with what she says with a grain of salt, although I hold pretty much every single stock she does. So I think we're really like-minded. But at the same time, I don't think it's a market moving event when she speaks anymore, really.
Yeah, it's an interesting look for Tesla this morning, down, even with that talk. The exact quote, guys, was Tesla's electric strategy should take its stock much higher than it is right now. So, I mean, just echoing essentially what Sean was saying there. Let's bring in Luis Barbado, joining us for the first time in a few weeks to discuss a few opportunities that he has been looking at over the past couple of weeks. It's been a while, Luis. Great to have you back. Running the Day Trade the World floor over in Barcelona, Spain. I hope it's a little bit nicer day there than it is here today. Luis, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again. Yeah, it's been some weeks because of some day off in the States, but here we are back in tradertv.live.
Lots of volume coming back into the market this morning in the small cap space. It's been a couple of days of kind of quiet trading to start things off this week, as I guess focus was being shifted over to some of these COVID-related plays. How has your week been?
Yeah, it's been kind of nice with some small caps in play. As you say, today we have a quite big number of small cap playing. As you say, IINN right now is breaking pre-market highs. 460 is trading 520s now. So it's one of the most active and with volume today. Already trading 12 million pre-market, so very active. It's a nice breakout. We don't have locate here, or it's very expensive. I don't remember right now, but it's one of the stocks in play today for us.
Yeah, 9 cents I saw, or it was actually 9.8 cents per share. So yeah, very expensive if you want to grab shorts on that. I was just looking, 21 million on the market cap for that, 5 million free float. So another one of those that we've seen over the past few weeks here. Teeny tiny little floats trying to go to the upside. Give us your take on what it is exactly on the technical side of things on the tape that you want to see to kind of pick your direction when you're looking at one of these.
Right now, as you said, very tiny float, trading almost 3 times the free float pre-market. So it's very dangerous unless we see some consolidation in some important levels, or some levels in the level 2 where we see big players are going on the short side, holding offers, or bidding big time to get fill and get out of the trade. So right now it's a void until it settles down at some points. Because of the low flow the last 2-3 weeks, we have seen runners like crazy runners, 100, 200, 300% up because of the tiny float and huge volume. So ENSC is another stock playing today, 100% up. Trying to break this 6 round number. It's a very active stock after 1 day running up. Second day consolidation, today is breaking high. So it's another very, very active stock, ENSC.
Another one that seems to be going on very little reason or catalyst behind it other than another relatively low float. Want to get your opinion on the world of SPACs. Trump-related SPACs came back to life late in the day yesterday, both DWAC and that CFVI, which will be Rumble, obviously, both pretty active once again in the pre-market. Have you been trading those? And if so, what's the game plan for today?
we didn't trade a lot yesterday. Those tickers, it's all about sympathy. It's sympathy time. So one stock is going up 100%. Everyone is looking for all the related stocks. And if any of them just break new highs, it's going all the volume inside. So it's all about sympathy in the stock market right now in the small cap world. So it's all about cycles. Sometimes you see breaking highs, and every breakout, it works good, and then all the traders look for the sympathy tickers, and then another cycle is it breaks, it fail, and then all of the stocks are failing in high. So it's about cycles and trying to get the money from the traders period by period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. I like that term, and we've seen that over the past couple of sessions. You can almost see as volume goes from one symbol to the next, and kind of shifts around as the moves happen. I want to get your take on, let's rewind the clock a little bit. I want to get your take on GameStop here, one that we discussed last year a lot, and then going into the beginning of this year, obviously, when it was making big moves. Earnings to be expected for GameStop. I mean, it's down, but is it enough this morning?
Yeah, it's a little bit down. It's yet in the range 170s, 220s. So in this range, unless we see some very volatile movement, we're not going to trade in it. But as I say, we're looking for related tickers to gain with all this movement. If it breaks 160, it's in another level. So we might see a movement down to 140s, which will be the last support area for GameStop.
All right, give us your top 2 or 3 here going into. We're 45 minutes away from the open here. What's top of the list?
Yeah, we talked about ENSC and IINN, of course. Then we're looking for CFVI for the 4th day, holding pretty nicely. And I think we'll be testing again 15 round number today for the long side. Checking Jumia as well. 2 days in a round going up like 40% in 2-3 days. So I think it's in interesting levels right now to trade it. Looking more for the short side on this one after the 40% run in 2 days. Lucid, of course, it's been active for 2-3 months. We're making a lot of money in this ticker. And today is active because the offering after hours of yesterday. So Lucid is another ticker. And SYTA, SYTA, is another ticker holding 520s right now. If we see it going through 560, it gets in play for the day as well for us. 21% up right now with 2 million shares already traded.
Yeah, big mover early in the week. That SYTA, new orders for them coming through late in the day yesterday. Luis Barbados from the Day Trade the World office in Barcelona, Spain. Best of luck today. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks a lot, Brendan. Say hi to Neil and Sean.
Will do, for sure. A number of different symbols there, guys, but interesting look from Luis.
Absolutely. One of those CFVI, that was a 1550 level. I think that's what Luis wanted to get at there, because that's a bit of a double top going into the last couple of weeks. So that's on the red. Obviously, if you were watching, those of you that were watching the afternoon show, we saw this run up to that price, and it was an interesting trade. Never really got to that 1550, but it is setting up pretty strongly for a breakout. That's interesting. I got these fills here in the middle of air because this chart's not really filling in. So it's one of those charting mornings for me. But watching 1550 for a breakout for myself, so we have that in common. That $5 break on IINN, it gave you about 20 cents or so. I missed it on the way up, so I'm not going to chase it on the way down.
Yeah, interesting names. I mean, Luis talked about it. What's up, Luis? Thanks for coming on again. It's been a long time, so we're really happy to have him back on board. Check out the Barcelona office again. So thank you, Luis, for Day Trade the World. But look, I've actually switched my tone a little bit here on Ford today, although the NASDAQ's starting to bump up a little bit here, which is nice. Yesterday, we had over 90 fills or something on Ford, and they were all pretty good, man. Buying these dips right here, right where we're at now, 975. The difference is we never got above 20 bucks. We did early. We opened up above there. Then we just got above, and we thank God we took some ticks out there above 20. But I'm looking for a short now today in Ford with the market coming to the downside, 0.3%. I look at this chart differently today than we did yesterday. So Ford, again, is on the sticky note. It's had a problem breaking through here. 21 bucks. And then today you're going to come in at another level. So I like these. Here's the 20-minute chart. Again, problems up here, right? And so if you're going to have a negative market, I like Ford to the sell side. So we're going to be selling some Ford early, and we'll see if it goes through. But we've made the mistake before in the past of taking out stocks a little too early on some of these notes. So we're going to be very, very careful. We put in some specific prices here on our sticky note as well. So we'll share that in the chat. And again, thank you for supporting that note. But I'm looking for Ford short, and I have a few other names on the list as well, including people already asking about DraftKings. So that's going to be on the list as well. So make sure you hit this link coming up in the chat.
Yeah, busy week for DKNG, or volatile, I guess I should say. Here we go, upgrades and downgrades, guys. One we haven't mentioned yet, or did briefly there. Speaking of Cathie Wood, Path on the upgrade side after earnings, 2.5% though to the downside so far. Twilio on here. Snapchat, still negative on the day, getting an upgrade. Pfizer as well. AMD, price target cut over here, Southwest, and that SPWR.
Yeah, you're going to see I guess the upgrade by Pfizer there. I think more interesting news if you're looking at some of the vaccine names might be, if it'll load up for me here, NVAX, which just had a rather significant drop, maybe like 10, 15 minutes, actually more like 20 minutes ago, through 185. Pfizer is basically up 0.5%, and I know it was a good opportunity yesterday on the news, but today, even with the upgrade, it's not moving a heck of a lot. We'll come back to it later, but NVAX, which could be, look, they're vaccine up for approval maybe in the next day or two. They could get some results there, but it's got a skittish bid here, and I'm just sort of noticing it just fell apart, $10 or so, actually $12, down to 173. This has been on the radar for the last sort of couple of days, and we're going to be testing that 50. Well, we just did test that 50 period, and I just sort of, in the back of my mind, this has nothing to do specifically with Rivian or some of the dip buys from Monday. But I remember when Rivian hit 100 on Monday, and it was like, oh man, you're not going to get that again. And then at the open, it hit like 124 and then bounced from there. And I'm looking at NVAX sort of similarly. Like, you look at this support that it sort of has had here from 170 down to 174, and already flushed in there once. And I'm just kind of thinking, if it falls hard and then finds any kind of a bid at 170, this level, right at 930, maybe it'll bounce off it. You kind of like it just did here, already bouncing $5-6 from the top. So in vaccine space, I'm kind of looking at NVAX as the one that looks like it's going to be the most volatile, despite the Pfizer upgrade. There were some good levels that we traded Pfizer off of yesterday. I think we'd take a look if it got back to that 53 price range, but NVAX certainly on my radar today.
Yeah, neither one of these on my radar. I didn't even realize Pfizer had gotten the upgrade here. It's not really doing much today, but we'll wait to see. I still think Pfizer, should be probably bought at some of these levels. I mean, we've already come off of a high of 55, 56 bucks, and so you're getting like 7, 8, 9, 10% discount here on those prices. So I think it's probably worth picking something up. I've said to you guys as well that I'm sort of waiting for a 46, 47 drop here. I don't know why. What the catalyst for the upgrade is. I think we know everything right now about Pfizer. We heard BioNTech yesterday talk about making $4 billion or something booster shots, or had the capability of making that, or whatever it is. So that's turned out to be a great partnership. I like Pfizer. I like them for the long haul. They do pay the dividend, but for me, if I was going to invest in something that I sort of thought would give me a little bit of a better capital appreciation, obviously that would be Moderna. I don't think this company is going anywhere. I think they're now a household name, just like Pfizer is. And I like them here, man. They're at the 200 period moving average. You got that huge flush down to 210. We've already talked about that a few times, and I loved this name through 250 when we broke it. But right now, you're battling, man. You're battling. We were just at 370 a week ago, and now you're back down to 270. So I think this is worth buying. And if you did buy some Moderna, I mean, this is the thing. You can make a lot of money and with little risk on some of these names. Like, as long as you put in your stop orders here, like, why not just get stopped out at 265 down here, right at the 200 period? If you go long now at 285, that's 20 bucks on 285. So you're risking like 17, 18% or so on that. And, I think that you have a much bigger upside. I mean, a $20 upside just gets you to the 50 period moving average of 305, 306 right there. So I think we get back. I think we can get back to 350. We'll see what happens. I mean, you're one more variant away. I mean, look, God willing, who knows what's the next step here for COVID? Is there going to be COVID-21? I mean, is there another variant coming? I mean, I have no idea what's next, but I do know that if something is next, then Moderna is probably where you want to put your money.
A couple things of note quickly. TGLS, Hindenburg out with a report on Technoglass, TGLS, heads up on that one. There's Funware, just announced an additional 100 Bitcoin, 4.975 million in cash for that. Ocugen also popped up there, FDA accepting an application to start human trials of an eye therapy. So that was that big move up. It's already, most of the way back here, but trying to hold some levels. But TGLS, another one, guys.
Yeah, look, it's down 32%. Hindenburg, like short seller reports, you know the story there. This one's not really doing a heck of a lot of volume. Like, it's only 280,000 shares on my board, which that's not a lot. I understand the percent move is gigantic, and you've got a great little move, and you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be exciting. But 40-cent spread right now, and even then, just like 100 shares on each level on this name. I don't know that it really piques my interest too much. Usually, the reaction for any short seller report is, does it hold up the low that it makes for in a couple of days? And then a lot of times you might get some rubber band action, but at that, I'd need to see some volume come in there. I did notice, at least on Funware, there wasn't a ton of volume when that announcement of Bitcoin came in, but OCGN at least is putting some volume through. But I'll have my eyes. I added it to my quote board to TGLS to look at. Just not a lot of volume to see here, and if you are trading it for whatever reason, be really careful of that spread because it's not very liquid, despite the news.
Evergrande. Some people talking about Evergrande here. Yeah, I mean they're going to default no matter what, man. I mean they don't hold good properties. They're like apparently in the middle of nowhere. Like it's not going to go good for Evergrande, but the market doesn't seem to really care about it. So neither do I, to be honest with you right now. When it starts becoming an issue, then we'll look at it. But honestly, China and all that, it's kind of just put it in the back burner for now. We've sort of dealt with that a little bit already, and you've seen BABA, NEO. I think NEO is like being depressed crazy because of this, but what are you going to do? Yesterday's short seller report comes out on Nuvea, and we talked about this as well. I did sell some shares early on, didn't get that huge bump. I'm in this name, but I've been in it since IPO time, so it's been a good one. I'm still in the money, like 15%, but we did sell some at the top. And just because we talked about TGLS there on Hindenburg, we're going to wait to see. I didn't see too much yesterday in the way of defending the stock, but we do know that there are, the CEOs out here defending. Another payment processor name here, so NVEI, yesterday down, what was it, 30 or 40% from 90 down to 44. So at one point it was chopped in half. It battled back huge. I mean, this touched 42, 43, and then it also, in the same day, like an hour and a half later, touched 68. So, this is another name to look at here. I'm going to see about defending this 55, 56 area here on NVEI. So we'll see. It's going to be very thin. It's already done 100,000 shares, which is pretty good, man. I mean, it doesn't do a lot of volume normally, but obviously yesterday a big day. Here's the one-day chart if you wanted to see this one all the way to the downside. This is not where they IPO'd, man. They IPO'd like down here, like I said, but they just dual listed over there in the NASDAQ. So a big stock with a big move down on big volume. So NVEI might be a new name for you guys, but I'm going to try to defend this 55, 56 area and park a bid right there and see what happens. One of those stink bids.
Stink it up.
To say. What up, Greg?
He's nice.
I think it is.
Greg is in the building today. Let's jump into what's moving around, guys, in the pre-market here. That is the watch list, absolutely free every single day to you. That's the link you need. Miss V will help you out. Brought to you by xsigma-trading.com this week. Thanks so much to them for bringing you the watch list today. Busy day. Let's jump into Apple. First off, back in all-time high territory the past couple of days after we learned yesterday. Remember, they got that stay on the App Store lawsuit that they were looking for over the past couple of weeks. So that came through in the middle of the day yesterday. Big move back to all-time highs, guys, for Apple.
Yes, sir. And $8. I was about to say like $7.60 whatever cents away from being trillion. I don't even know what the math is from being a $3 trillion company. As Apple goes, the market is going to go today. There's a feel, and if it was Friday, maybe I'd feel like it was going to be more of an obvious sort of sell-off. But anytime you get, ignore these wicks, anytime you get like a strong sort of parabolic, the kind of day that they had a couple of days ago in Apple on Tuesday when I was actually off, and then you have like this smaller sort of extended move but a tighter range in, and then you get that lower high. A lot of times I'm sort of thinking to myself, oh man, if it takes out this level, you could come back and give a couple of bucks back. Apple's a bit of a different beast, but I think looks like there's some resistance at that 176 level. I think below that price, it could get interesting for the market if we make a rollover in Apple. I'm going to use Apple as my barometer. Like if there's a couple of stink bids that I already like to the long side. I was looking at Nvidia and a firm, and the way I want to approach it is, if Apple is taking out this low and heading anywhere near, sort of where its breakout was yesterday, was more like a 173, then you want to be careful jumping in front of any falling swords, because a reversal on Apple, I think, is an automatic sell for some of those, what's the word I want to use, like high valuation, growth type of companies, which, I think that's where your chips would fall. And I think that's clearly where like an Affirm will be, although fintech has been pretty strong. So, I do not want Apple cratering when I'm trying to catch a bid on those ones. You want to see at least some stability, and then you can use it in both directions. It can be a barometer in the other way. One of the small caps I just got in this AVCT. It's in a tight range. I guess I can probably pull it up here very quickly because we do talk about the trades that we're in. It's in this very, very tight range, 130 to 135. It's a lower consolidation off of 156 to 160 top there. So I'm actually liking it in front of VWAP. If it breaks that, I would short it off the top. There's another one from our watch list. And alert to, GameStop we talked about, but a Lucid down 7%, triple bottom now, just below the 41.50 mark. We know 42 has been a key price, so a lot of things on the move and at some key areas.
Yeah, we'll put the sticky note up again, and we're just talking about Apple, man. I mean, we've been trading this long all week. We talked about that. It was one of my best trades coming Tuesday, Wednesday, and I wasn't here Monday, but long all week. And I don't really like the long again here, as we talked about it, until we break past yesterday's high. I just have the feeling today that we're going to have a negative push here in the market. But we could be wrong. We're only down 0.37. And Apple's just sitting right here, ready to be shorted, man, at 174. But I can't do it. And my trades aren't here from yesterday. But we hit the long. We were loving life yesterday, long all day. This is not yesterday. Yesterday we have this bad stupid wick on there. But we were long yesterday into a lot of these moves. And yeah, unfortunately, I can't even show you that minute chart without cleaning it up. But I think a 174, you're going to watch out for that. If we dip into this 172 area, which I don't think we get to, but we'll see, that could be a buy, and we'll look at it. So I do have it up. It's going to be on one of my screens today, 100%. So there's that, and we're really happy to look at it. But I just think there's better names. Apple only 0.24 today. It's not really doing much. You can see it's kind of moving with the NASDAQ, that the fact that it's negative. So I think it's a little bit overheated right now, even though when you look at a 20-minute chart, like we were just at 157 back on November 26th. Even if you just go back a week here to December 2nd, which is literally a week, you get 159, and now you're up to 175. So, I think Apple just let it rest, let it settle down, and we'll look at this in a couple of days. But hey, if it takes out that 176, then I'm long. I'm not going to stand in front of a freight train if this long just continues to go. So we're going to try to hop on that, but not until it breaks 176.
All right, let's bring in Arun here and get a check of the overall market. As we said, back in the red, but only just here, Arun. What are you looking at today?
It's not going to be much different from yesterday. The market's going sideways, so you really can't do a whole lot. You kind of just mark off the top levels, maybe the bottom levels, and see if you can't trade in the range in between. And then, but for now, I've got 47.15, which was in play yesterday as well. And then we've got 46.35 still from yesterday. So those are the two bands that I'm working with. I think anything in north of 46.90 that kind of fades a little bit, I have the option to go short there. With 47.15 as your stop. Of course, if you go down, then I'm preferably down in the 60s, maybe 65, somewhere in there. If we can get an actual decent turnaround there for a long, or a setup for a long, that would be the play there with 46.35 as your stop. There really isn't a whole lot. Market decides to go quiet. Keep in mind, today's going to be the last full day of trading on the December contract. We have the rollover tonight. Then tomorrow it's going to be, which should be the March contract, but volume tends not to roll over until Monday. So obviously I'll be in the office tomorrow. We'll figure it out which one we want to trade, but it could be either or. But for today though, today will be the last day of the December contract. So volume might be thinning out as well today. So we'll see how that plays out. But we have the bands. If we get a breakout above 47.15, then you take the long. That's an easier trade to make than it is trading inside the bands. But volume isn't really there. It seems like the market wants to go quiet. We'll see how this plays out, but keep an eye on those levels. Maybe we get a breakout. That'd be nice.
Thanks, Arun. Yeah, we will see you in person tomorrow morning. Thanks so much. GameStop, the next one on the list here this morning. GME back to, I mean, it's trying to go back higher right now still. 4.5% to the downside. Earnings were, as we said, to be expected for GME. Is there a trade here today, guys?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so. I think it's going to be to the short side here. I mean, we've looked at GME, and I actually wrote it down, obviously, on the list as well today. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem like there was anything in the report to get people excited again. And they should have said something. I don't know what's going on with GameStop, but you're down 4% here. I said I like the short back to this 172 area. Sort of, we dumped down yesterday, got to 160. Everyone was kind of like panicking. Then it bumps back up here to between 170 and 172. You know, it's just, you know, reshaping its operations, lure gamers back. Like, these are some of the notes that we have, and there's just nothing in there that makes me think that, hey, GameStop is a turnaround story right now. We know the story of GameStop, so we don't need to talk about where it's been or anything like that. We're just really worried about where it's going. And it's been pretty consistent over the last little while, right? We jumped from 208, and it's just been consistently down into these earnings. So the market's been well and pretty healthy the last couple of days. So obviously they get a bump from 160 back up to this 182 area. If you ever got into here, I mean, that would be obviously, I think, you know, basically a monster short opportunity if you got back into 182, 184 here. And I don't want to talk negatively about it. I mean, there's a lot of people that are probably long GameStop right here. And today's not going to be a great day, but you're only down that 4%. And this is what I'm talking about when I say GameStop hasn't done much recently. I mean, you just kind of barcoding ever since June. I mean, you had a big move up to 330 again, which was some of these highs, which was absolutely ridiculous. What a great opportunity that was back there in June. And then you got another one here back to 250. And today they don't give any reason for this to go up. So I think you have a lot of support, or sorry, resistance here with these technicals, the 200 and the 50 up here at 190. You are going to break below 150 probably at some point. I don't think that happens today. I don't think there was really anything here. But for me, it's already a short. I have the orders in right here, 170. I have an order at 169, an order at 170, and I want to stare 172 down. So that's my plan of action. That's the trade that I think, and you're probably somewhere similar.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, like we said at the opening of the show, like, it's just, at some point, if you're doing a turnaround, you got to articulate that turnaround, and neglecting to do so and then not answering any calls, not answering anything on the call, it just feels like there's not a lot to get behind. Now, what holds the stock up from being at $100 or $90 or 75 or 50 or or 120, whatever it is, further to the downside, is the simple fact that you have a lot of long-term holders that feel like they're just not going to give up on it as easily. So when you get those big retracements and people are panicking, it doesn't seem to be as much of that in GameStop, right? So you got to temper the expectations for that. And that's the only reason I don't automatically have like let's just sit on a 160 break. When it takes out that bottom, we'll go just jam short. I'm probably going to like it when it gets to that range. The first thing I'm looking for is a pop and roll setup off the pre-market high, which is only $1 away, so that's a little bit tight. I like the previous resistance levels at 172 for the next level up. Like, if we break this, I mean, 170 could break. If we take out the pre-market high, let's say we don't have that 930 rollover trade, and then when you break up, it can break 170 for me and still be a short, because you have yesterday's, I guess, morning low of 172, and then you've got that entire gap, 70 to 72, I think, to work into a short position. So I can't think of a long that I like on this stock. Today, I can't think of a reason, but you know, stranger things have happened. So with everything, you always have to have a stop. If we get that rollover at the open, you know, I like that trade, but it's not even doing a lot of volume here as well. So that's another shocking thing. Low volume. No one seems to care too much about this as much as they used to, and that could put a damper on momentum sometimes.
A nice bounce back day yesterday for Lucid, back higher. We get the debt raise aftermarket. They announced $1.75 billion in convertible senior notes, but I mean, if you look at yesterday's chart, we're only back to this support level from off the open here, but 7% still for LCID.
it just brings it right back to this key price here. Like this is where it made the turnaround on. I guess this was on Monday when we were trading it, and Arun had the reversal 42. I just kept shorting 42s at the open and was able to get the bottom eventually. Should have reversed it yesterday. We did do the reversal when it took out 42.50, which was more the consolidation from the pre-market. I'm sticking with the 15-minute chart because I feel like it's a little bit better to be able to see what happened on that wipeout day because some of those levels are really important. But we reversed it last time. Ultimately, look, this is a raise they could be doing in a few years from now. They can be doing a few years from now in terms of the dilution. I think it's 26 is when the dilution will come. And this is not necessarily the end of the world, but everything that I've seen that's been putting in good recoveries has held the higher low from the point of that wipeout bottom. In this particular case, Lucid, it did so yesterday, but not after being another great short off of 42. And I sort of say to myself, this is the same thing. You get 42.50, which was a reversal price yesterday. It's a short in front of that price. It's a reversal when it breaks it. Although if it breaks it right at the open, I'm not a huge fan of that. Like the last couple of days, it'll go back and forth, give you the short, coil up, and then go. That's what I want to see happen the same way here. And it has a decent chance to hold this low at 41.30. So that's the other key point. If we break 41.30 to the downside, I mean, that could just be a quick scalp short into 41 as well. So there's a lot to do at the open. But if it does not break this range and it just keeps on coiling up, the last two times it was here, it was a breakout to the upside, at about, I want to say like 9:45, 10 o'clock, like just a few minutes after the open, but not necessarily later on in the day. And you can see each time that it did it, it was absolutely fantastic, giving you a straight move to 45 even. So you got to be willing to play off of this 42 to 45 range in both directions. Otherwise, you're sort of missing out on the day trade.
Yeah, I'm going to just look one way, man. I'm just going to look long. I mean, off this 40, this offering, like I've tweeted out, and someone even, and I responded to them on Twitter here today when they talked about. Someone messaged me right here on the sticky note. And they said Lucid is a debt offering, right? It's convertible, not public. Tesla has done this many times before. And then I responded, yeah, exactly. I mean, Neil just said the exact same thing I said 20 minutes ago.
The same guy tweeted me.
Without reading it. Okay, Garrett, yeah. And I said, yeah, no, not the end of the world. So, Neil and I both think the same thing about Lucid here. And again, I'll put the sticky note in the chat here for you guys so you can get it if you need it. But otherwise, let me see how many likes we have on this thing here. 74. Okay, not bad. All right, so we'll see here. But I still think we defend that $40 level. We've seen it happen before. Neil has talked about that. I wasn't here when we cracked the 38 or 39. That was nuts. But, you can see down here, we tried to go down yesterday off the open and we bounced off 41.50. So today, and then you close at 45. Like, what a monster move. 10% intraday yesterday with Lucid. Great move to the upside after getting washed out early. So we'll look to see if that happens again. And if it does happen, then I want to get long. I don't think this is enough to crack through 39. So if I'm long here, I mean, look, I have a bid right now at $40.60. So about 80 cents lower. We picked up a great bid yesterday on SoFi. We'll see if we can do the same thing for Lucid. I think this is a good name. Continues to work. Again, this is probably too far, too fast the other way now. You've made a nice move up. We've talked about shorting this thing up here. I think we were shorting the crap out of this thing at 56, 57, 58 up here. Made a lot of money off that, and now it's come back in, and it's kind of doing the same thing. It probably loops around now, hits somewhere near this 50 period and goes back to the upside. Remember, the Lucid Air was, with the Dream edition, was the car of the year. So, I mean, they have a big order book. They have showrooms. They have a physical product. So I like Lucid, and I think the more people see this car on the road, the more they'll like it as well. I've never seen one, but apparently, there's a showroom in Miami, apparently some in Cali as well. So we'll wait to see if Florida, might be more than just Miami, but people have tweeted pictures, and I like Lucid. I think they can work here. I also like Fisker, and I'm obviously a huge Ford bull, but we've been getting out of some of that, raising some capital. So I like Lucid here, and I like a lot of these names, Rivian, Lucid, Ford, Fisker. I think they're all in the right space, not Workhorse, not Nikola, but some of those other ones I like.
All right, we get one of the final large IPOs of the year coming through today. New Holdings, which is Brazil's new bank, essentially a neobank from Latin America. They raised $2.6 billion and come to market around 44 billion on the market cap. For NU, Warren Buffett in this one for about 500 million. Tencent also involved in this one, so might get a little bit of attention today.
Oh, it's going to get attention for sure. Sean made the well, I guess we didn't officially make a bet because someone has to be on the other side of it, or the prediction that we could get to trade this one before 11 o'clock and that it would open up pretty quick. And obviously you're not going to see any data, but I already have like a tap value of 9, which is weird. I mean, usually I think it's just tapping the issue price, which is $9.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just not used to seeing any data at this time of the day.
Data, yeah.
So maybe it's a good sign. But either way, I don't think there's a heck of a lot to do here. We'll continue to update. We'll always update you guys. It's like, this is the indicative open. We can have an imbalance up. I can sort mine by time and then sort of watch it as it updates here. And one of the things I'm looking for is, look, we like taking the opening print on some of these, especially when we know there's a lot of eyeballs on it. And you know, that can be a little bit dicey. Like if you start thinking about what happened on, like the best example is probably Coinbase, right? Because nobody in their right mind is going to be, well, I'm sure there's somebody out there who will try to tell you, but no one in their right mind is going to be able to tell you that Coinbase was a good IPO. Of course, now it doesn't want to load back. So I can't really show you. But it was on the opening trade, it was a great win. It was horrible for the next few days. I don't know if your chart will load to be able to show everybody, but it is what it is. Rivian was sort of a similar kind of story here, and maybe this one will load for you. You're just looking for that initial pop on an opening print. But one caveat for me is if the indicative price just basically hovers without any upward momentum, I tend to reduce the number of shares that I'm going to want to have. Like if it's issued at $9 and all of a sudden it's indicating an open of like, let's say 14 or 15 bucks. And then instead of going up, that starts coming down and the interest isn't as big as I would like, then I might take a few less shares. And that's just one way to approach it. I want there to be like momentum. I want there to be a lot of eyeballs all over it. But even when you have a red first day on stocks, and now even Rivian, my chart doesn't want to go back far enough, you can still have a good opening print and then that first run. So don't take the automatically buying off the open and making a trade, trying to get like say $10 to $11 or $15 to $17. That's not the same thing as saying, oh, I think this is a buy and a hold for the next week. Very, very different things when we're talking day trading here.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the SoFi chart here. I mean, you could see, people saying this is the SoFi of Latin America. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I kind of think that's a bad thing, to be honest with you, because SoFi has been basically a money burner. They're all the way down here to 15 bucks again. We tried to get some SoFi out up here. That was about as obvious as it can be. But I do want to note that SoFi was IPO E or D or A or F or whatever it was. It's definitely not F. But all the way I think it was IPO E maybe. But again, SoFi came to market. It's hard to see what it did, but it did sort of ramp up here. I believe this is when it came from a SPAC, right? So starts at 10 bucks and then kind of ramps itself to about 25, 30 here near the top. So I do expect a similar trajectory for this name. But again, this was IPOE and SoFi sort of came when SoFi, when SPACs were all the rage and they were pretty hot. So it's hard for me to judge like what this is going to do here. SoFi's definitely found a base here at 14 or 15. So for Nubank, I am going long. I'm going to take the opening print as per usual. That's how we sort of trade these bigger names. They're coming with a lot of fanfare. And I like Nubank here. We've already seen them on CNBC. So let's just figure out where we go from here. But I like this, and let's just move forward with taking that opening print and seeing where we go. And I hope it happens live for you here on the show. And by the way, look what's happening to the futures. Not much. They're up now 0.32, was 0.4. But look what we've done here with Apple. Apple now just rip city again. Apple goes positive right now. No idea what the catalyst is here, but I believe people just continue to buy call options on this name. Santa Claus rally is coming in the next week or two. So, people are going to be hopping on the Apple bandwagon, and wait till you hear the numbers that are going to come from this Christmas season on Apple. Honestly, this thing is going to be at 190, 200 bucks, probably in 2 months, 3 months. So let's watch out to see where Apple goes from here, but they're going to blow out all these numbers. I think that this iPhone 13 is going to be absolutely monstrous. I know they've redone some things with the MacBook, new chips, new everything. I haven't bought anything recently in Apple, but I'll just continue to hold my shares, and this is a never seller. These guys, Tesla, Microsoft, Palantir, some of these names, man, I'm never going to be dropping, and there goes Apple again. Like, even when the market's down, Apple says, hold my beer.
Lucas.
There it is.
It's a little slow, that graphic. I like it.
It could be sped up there, but Rob was at the Raptors game and
tough loss.
Was feeling ways there, but it's a very, very exciting game. He told me they were winning all game.
They weren't.
And I did remind him that basically the whole second half they weren't winning.
I'm saying they put up,
and
they dropped 33 in the fourth quarter to lose by 1.
He may be a little rough here today because and then they were winning with like 10 seconds left, and then a tip in by a guy I've never heard of missed.
Let's be real. OKC has a lot of guys we've never heard of.
Or whatever. What's his name?
Yeah. Champagne.
Yeah. So he hit a sick shot, like kind of like a Kobe-esque, like out of the air, to get us tied or up 1 or whatever it was, and then unfortunately, Van Fleet hit that 3-pointer. Anyways, Raptor game, good one. Hopefully the Raptors can make the playoffs. It'll be an interesting year for the NBA guys, as long as LeBron James stops punching people in the face.
All right, 10 minutes ago here, guys. Twitter breaking back to the downside after it just failed once again at 47. If you missed it, Kathy Wood on CNBC this morning talking up Twitter and its possible role that it could play in the NFT world. So 2.5% here right now, but this 47 seems to be a problem so far. Big move, though, for Twitter in the pre-market.
Okay, last time I tried to clean up this crazy wick from 2 days ago that goes up to like 65 on my daily chart, it crashed my chart. So I'm not gonna fix it here, but Twitter did just hit some resistance from the last week, and you look at this level at 47. It's actually 47.30 up top. So this is what I was sort of getting at. It's like there are so many other charts I could pull up for beat up names that have made a bottom and broken whatever the bottom level of consolidation is and are making stronger comebacks than Twitter. So as long as it's below that 48, it's got a resistance level to dig into. And we didn't break it here today, even on that news. I think that 47.30 is your front form of resistance. And I think that 48 is going to be the next level to that upside. Now, it's not a ton of volume, so I'm not sitting here like over trading it like it was a small cap. I think it's going to drop $1 off the open. But I'm looking 48, certainly if it gets to that price, for a bit of a fade on Twitter. We'll see what happens. I still don't really see any action in that new ARK ETF. It doesn't seem like it's doing a heck of a lot. Maybe we'll check back in on that for lunch. But I just see 48 resistance on Twitter, and that's the only thing I'm looking at.
I'm just here typing something in our fantasy football pool here. Anyways, yeah. I was going to talk about that. Because people are talking about public offers in our chat, right? And it's like, Jay wanted a third for Chuba Hubbard, and I was like, what? That seems to be a little bit too much for me.
Good round pick.
I don't even have a third. And that means I have to pay a second.
I won't pay that.
So anyways, and then Zane piped in there. So anyways, we're going to talk about that as we go. I don't even know the stock we're talking about. We're talking about Twitter there.
Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I've already gone over Twitter, and I think that Twitter's a short at some point here today. But I'm a little bit nervous about the market starting to go up here. We only have 8 minutes left. So there's the big bump up. We had Miss Wood come on and talk all about them today, getting the bump up. I don't see where they're going to play a bigger role in the NFT space. Like, come on, I really feel like she's reaching for all this right here. But here's Twitter on a 20-minute chart. It does have room to go. I mean, that 40 bottom is pretty sweet. There's no doubt about that. But today at 47, I don't know, man. This is the Jack Dorsey bump that they got when he said he was stepping down. And then people realized it was nothing, and it came right back in and actually closed higher, but not much that day. And now today we're getting right back to where we are. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here with Twitter. I'm not super excited, but let's take a look quickly at the imbalance locator. There it is. So this is going to get updated throughout, right? This is new.
Oh, it's already there?
Yeah, so it's already here, 1.5 million to buy. I believe Neil talked about this. Let's just see what it looks like here. Yeah, 9. So, these are just orders that have been put in here. And actually, this is my order right here, actually, for 500 shares. I put a bid in at $100 for 500 shares just to see what's happening.
You don't need to put 100. Just joking.
Just flexing the buying power, right?
It's not opening up.
But there it is right there. So that is actually my order. So yeah, I made it on the board right there. And so my order's in there for 500 shares for right now. We'll adjust that. I don't know why. I just put that in there in case I forgot about it. So we'll adjust that, more shares, less shares, something like that as the stock opens. So we'll just wait to see where that goes. But that is actually my order. So I actually feel pretty good about that. Seeing that there, I've never seen it like that on an IPO. And I don't really know why there's not more orders here, but that leads me to believe that this is not going to open anytime soon. But there we go. There's Nucor, 1.5 million shares right now to buy.
All right, let's talk Digital World Acquisition Corporation, active again this morning along with CFVI. We mentioned with Lewis, big day yesterday for both of these coming off of this move for DWAC from 48 all the way up here to 66 on the day yesterday. I mean, we're holding some key levels, but both kind of down this 4-ish% here in the pre-market.
Yeah, I mean, look, pulling back after what has been a monster 2-day run, you were running into some resistance at 65. I think the bigger levels are going to be, if you touch this 68, which is, it seems like if you look at the daily chart, you're going to look at 77.40 and say that's going to be the high. But if you look at the rejection that this thing had around 68, it was a pretty harsh one the last time it got there. So I'm looking at that as potentially putting a temp ceiling on this at 66. There was a couple of days ago where we absolutely loved the pop and fade, and we'll see if that actually happens again. Like, if it doesn't get through the current high, you obviously can't break yesterday's high if you can't get through the current high. So that's the first thing I'll look at. And if you break this high here, I do think there's runway 68 to 70. So I don't think it's really much of a chance that you want to be shorting 66.50 if it breaks yesterday's high. If anything, 66.50 would be sort of like a breakout scalp long trade to try and capture that $1 to $2 or so. So first look will be off of today's high, pretty clean at 65 even here, or 65.20 for a pop and fade. If it gets through that level, I wouldn't be reversing there. I think yesterday's high would be a better place to go long. In terms of support, you got to go right back to yesterday's bottom, which sort of coincided here, 57, 57 and a half, that kind of range. That's a ways away, like 10% would have to drop before I actually buying any dips on DWAC. And that's the one I'm going to be trying to focus on here today. I know Funware had news as well, and you can look at, I'm already forgetting the CFVI, but it'll be DWAC for me. Try to focus on just one.
Yeah, I haven't looked at CFVI or DWAC, but CFVI for me is a little more exciting than DWAC just because it's a little bit of a newer name and a lower price, and they have sort of different levels of price discovery here. So, I mean, I think a break of, and again, once the chart loads, you guys saw the sort of the troubles that we were having there with Arun, and we do know that there is some internet traffic issues, guys, and it's nothing that we can do. We're running around looking at this. So the only suggestion I think coming from our tech team here is like, close and refresh your browser if that's happening. But we are aware that there is some sketchy connections for some of you anyways. We appear to be fine. You can see sometimes our charts are a little bit tough here, but I think we're fine. So, and that was another thing, guys. Don't ever trade if you do feel like something's off, or lower your shares. Like, that's the one thing, because there's always tomorrow. There's always later on, right? So if there is a problem, but there's CFEI, and this is what I'm talking about, this 15 level. So it's a relatively new name. We've already talked about that. We know what this is. It's going to be that rumble. And I don't know. I know it kind of moves a little bit with DWAC there. I mean, I don't really know if this business model is going to be anything good or not. I don't even know if DWAC is going to get off the ground. I mean, I know they're raising a lot of capital. That'll be interesting to see when they finally come to market. CFVI, again, is like supposed to be like a YouTube type of experience for videos. And I mean, I'm not going to get political here, but I just don't think that it's the right space here for this. So we'll see a nice little bump up, but I mean, realistically, you're still up that 40% from 10 from its SPAC value. So it might be good to go, or it may not. So I'm just not interested in this thing until we break 1550, so that I'm on board with everybody else. And I just want to, before we go, Brandon, I know you're standing over there. Just people are asking about Nubank. I'll always call it Nucor. And like, why would I bid this $100, or why would this person bid 550? It doesn't matter what you bid. Your order, as long as it's higher than the opening price. So that's all that matters. Like, I'm not going to get filled at $100. I mean, if I do, then we'll have to talk about that. But the main point here is that you're going to get filled at whatever price it comes out at. So if it comes at 101, I will miss the print. Okay, but if it comes anywhere from the $9 or from 0 all the way to 100, I should and will get filled. So that's how it works. It's basically just a guaranteed fill. That's all that is. So I just can't believe I see it on here. That's all. So I wasn't even going to bring it up, but we saw it. So over to the big screen there with Brendan with only 2 left.
A couple minutes to go here. We mentioned with Lewis this one, IINN, very, very active, heavy volume, guys, heading into the open here, up a ton. If you go to the daily chart, there is an area I was just mentioning to Valeria here, 620 and then 650 up to about 675. If you go back to that last time it spiked up, the initial debut high was about 620 as well. So we're getting into that territory where we could test that 620 level above us. Otherwise, might have to let this one go. It's already gone way too far, in my opinion. This is 5 and then 450 below that if it does start to come back down, guys.
Yeah, and a couple more in that on our watch list. American Virtual Cloud Technologies. You'll see that AVTC. I already said I got that 130, 130 and a half, actually short in front of like a 140 VWAP. And ENSC. This is another consolidation lower off of a gap up. It's got some pretty solid levels. 560 was one if you went to the higher time frame, but has actually put in a 560 top for the last like 30 minutes or so. And I like this one for sort of a pop and fade off the lower high. $6 is sort of the obvious out on the lower high. 650 up at the top. I just noticed Lucid, so I'm sticking with the game plan with Lucid. It's been the same thing every single time. It kind of came down, but it's worked. It's given you that pop. And then I like the reversal at 42.50. It doesn't seem like it's going to make the pop, obviously, now that it's coming and testing that low. But that's the only way I wanted to short it, was a short off of that 42.50. A reversal, if it broke it, it doesn't seem like it wants to come upside to fill me on that kind of a short. I'm not chasing it down here.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on Ford to start the day. We'll just check quickly on the imbalance locator as we are. What the hell did I just do? As we are very, very close right now. I think I'm going to, oh no, look at my computer. I think it's a little bit frozen there. EDU, there's not much on here with only 15 seconds left now. There's Twitter as a buy, Uber's here, CCL as a sell, a couple names. I'm going to look to short Ford if we can get it. So here we go with only 9 seconds
it's
left.
It's like delayed when I hit it.
We don't have Miss V on the morning show enough yet.
There she is.
Here we go.
4, 3, 2, and 1. Got
the green. She's got the green. All right.
I should have said I have a stink bid on a firm at 120 if the market crashed, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, well, who knows? Yeah, we'll see here. If a market crashes, man, we want to be all over this. Here goes Ford to the downside. Yeah, we'll wait to see if it does bump up a little bit. What is it, 980? I mean, my offer on Ford right now is at 1990. So we'll put it a little bit better. Looks like it is falling down here as expected. So Ford right now to the downside. We're waiting at 1990. No fill yet, guys.
So another name that actually had some news. I remember Fubo TV. They did get a positive story that just actually came out. I'm looking at that 2050 level because it has a double top here in the pre-market. So that's a bit of a new entry. AVCT is the only thing that actually came in off of the open. Well, that I already had off of the open. I'm looking to add in front of that 140 level if it wants to give me the pop. It looks like Lucid's starting to come up, and GameStop is already fading. Oh, give me a break. Like GameStop.
I didn't think it did much.
Oh, it just dropped. So it rejected this high. The spread's pretty big here right now, but it rejected this high at 167.50 and then started to come down. I mean, I like the short in front of that 170, but the pop and fade, it was almost too thin to just jump in front because it was a $1 spread. I didn't want to jump in front. I wanted to tighten up a little bit first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but the market is absolutely taking off again here. So I'm going to go over to Apple and see what's good here. 176, man. I think we got to take this break. We talked about this, and I just think it's going to be a missed opportunity if we don't do something here. So we'll take a small break here just to start with Apple. And again, this is what it's doing right now. It dumped down to 174. There's going to be opportunities to get the long. I only want to test this bid if we get it. And then there it is. What did I just get into right now? GameStop. So GameStop right now on the short. 169.50. So we're looking for Apple long. We do have the GameStop short. We are a little nervous about this trade. There goes Apple long as well. GameStop short. So we've got two positions on right now. Apple taking out that level. But again, we don't want to give this one too far, man. If this comes back in, we're going to get this out at 175. So $1 worth of risk. We're short GameStop here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I said I like that 172. That's the top for me on GameStop. So I'm in. I just talked about the 2050 break on Fubo and still managed to miss it. I try to catch it on the way back down here, grabbing some 61. But that stock is already starting to run. Lucid looking like it's taking out that bottom. And another one for you here, that IINN that Brendan had mentioned. Quickly, okay, of course it doesn't want to load. I don't know if you got something. Load. There we go.
Yeah,
INN just went back down through that 6 even level, so a bit of a key price up around that 620. 650 is the big one. But if it churns back through 550, this one could be in some deep trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I don't know, man. We're going to wait here on GameStop as we do have now an average price in here. So we'll have to wait to see. We just took another 171.50 there, 171, whatever it was. That's a little nerve-wracking. Okay, Apple's starting to go as well right now. So we're going to watch to see what Apple does here. We have the long. We've already taken it out at 30 cents right there. So that's a 30-cent win right there for Apple. We'll hold it to see where it goes. But GameStop is a little nerve-wracking here because the spread, we just got punched out of that as the spread just ticked us out there. Oops.
Yeah, I can't put a stop. You can't put a stop.
You cannot put a stop on GameStop, no. So I'm going to try to learn from that lesson and see if I can go short again here right now. We still, I mean, whatever. I can still win on this trade. It's just we did get stopped out there. We'll put on another trade right here and see if it wants to fade back in. But that's a stop out right there at that 172.50. So that's going to be really, really tough here on GameStop. We tried to go short. It looks like you guys win, man. Those of you holding the shares, definitely not selling today, so good on that. But it is trying to go through 173. Just looking to see, is there another spot here? Because we are short again, where, I'm not going to hold this all the way up to 180. So, yeah, GameStop right now. Let's hope it works here as we took a hit on that first position.
Oh, my goodness. I just got that ENSC as well. That popped in. I mean, GameStop, it's starting to stabilize. Whoops. Yeah, everything just not wanting to flip. So I actually got that fill. It popped up, gave 71s, and started to come down. So one pop and roll has finally come in. Sometimes you just got to be patient. We'll ring the Reggie on that one. I should have also rang the register. I did get some shares out on Fubo TV as well. So that actually started to work to the upside. Look, I did miss the break at 2050. I ended up having to chase it to 2061. Just got some out at 90, so try to get that one to you as late as possible. Lucid puts the reversal on. Come on,
Apple.
Where is it? Yeah, Lucid puts the reversal on, so take the short in front of that 4250, and it didn't even give you, like the last couple of days, Lucid has been giving you this trade where it gives you the short off of that fade. Not this time, it's just immediately into the reversal long, but that has been good to 45 almost every single time. Oh, it's one of those chart mornings. It was good on Monday. It was good yesterday up to that 45 level. Will I take some out in front of 43, in front of 44? Yes, because that's the way we trade as day traders. Like to be a little bit more active.
Oh, man, that's really too bad that I got pumped out there, because this would be now just a winner beyond belief right now for GME, because I did have a decent amount of shares there. So, damn it got dropped down there on that name. So whatever. We won't cry over spilled milk, but it still does suck as GME coming right back in here. We do have some bids, though, now on this name, 168.25. We'll see if that can fill to the downside right now. What's up, B?
Skills, guys, raising $300 million through a debt offering as well. It was down in the pre-market, but huge volume there, off 950. So a huge volume alert at 950 back towards pre-market highs for SKLZ.
Yes, sir. And Lucid, we're just going to hang on to. We're going to give it more of a tight range there, or a wider range, I should say, not a tight range, and sort of similar to GameStop. It's just a lot of wide spreads that are coming through. And Fubo just took out 21, got to 04, and then put a reversal in. I want to see if I can catch a bit of a bid back at around like maybe 2060, 2065. It wants to start bouncing off view up. I like it to the long side. Let's see if we can let this one ride. I just took first leg out on GameStop for me, so thankfully I noticed the spread and was about to, I actually had a stop order and was like, I couldn't throw a stop. It would just be too crazy to have a stop up there because the spread was too big. The bid was not really following up to that stop area, that 172, 172 half. It was really just the offer that was evaporating. I'm going to take some out in front of 168 in case it makes a retest, and then throw the rest of this bid down at 165. It looks like it was one of those pop and fade style plays. So while that's working, fair enough. What isn't is the day that I decide to reverse long in Lucid, and it's starting to drop. Now, it's only at 42, which has been that key level before, but a lot of times, the last couple of days when it worked off this level, it basically broke, had a slight retracement, and then started to go. And the market is bouncing here, so I need to see us hold right here at 41.90, 42, give a consolidation. I'm not adding to this position unless I see a strong consolidation to move up. This is not a catch a falling sword on the way back down. I want it to trade the way it did yesterday and the way it did on Monday.
Yeah, we're still bidding for that Lucid. We'll see if we can get that fill. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, okay, here goes Ford right now. Good trade here. We told you we were shorting that 1990. We're just taking some fills now. 80s, 81s. We took an 86. We took an 83. This is basically the same thing we did yesterday, but on the reverse. It's my bad. I just had way too many shares. I had to put that stop order in. I basically had no choice. But thank God we reloaded it and got into there, but we did take that out on GameStop, and it's just a matter of, poor execution on the amount, not on the amount of shares. It didn't do that. I was trying to hit some home runs there, and we do have a home run right now. We're in the money $5, and we're going to be flat on this trade after all this. So it looks like a good one. But damn it, man, if we don't get stopped out there, we are 2 or 3 times daily goal, but we do get stopped out, and now we're back to flat on the day. Thank you in part due to this trade. Nicely done for Ford. And then right here, Apple. I don't know how far Apple went up there. 176.60. I think we'll probably take that out if we get a little bit higher than that. What's up, Brendo?
That pair we were talking about, PEAR, halts higher on a volatility halt. There's also the Chinese online education companies just ripping right now. EDU straight to the upside, 15%. TAL, another one, looks very similar on heavy volume, guys.
I actually thought I was going to guess correctly that you were about to say ISIG because it's also halted up. So I should have looked at that pair. I said I should have looked at it, but it wasn't on my board. But ISIG certainly is. Just remember, we traded this one yesterday, and it was a crazy move up to 25. But that lower high, this first halt level at $20, that's going to be in play. It halted at 19 here, so it's 20 that is of circumstance for me. If it fails at that price range, I think that's the only place you can try to short it. Otherwise, you're being a little bit crazy. But we'll see what happens when it opens up in hopefully 5 minutes. ENSC. Going to continue to ring the register on that one. We got the pop and fade almost perfectly, 570. I can go to the 1 minute so you can see better. We got some out here at $5, then just a little bit more at $5.15. So already banking 50 cents and then 70 cents. I want to hold the rest in case it retests down to 4 to 420, which is the current low of the day. I still have a leg of GameStop in here. It looks like Lucid is the one that's not going to work. But I'll tell you, Fubo TV, sort of like the last thing we sort of said was 2050. Fubo had news. Take a look at the breakout. Didn't catch the breakout. Got the dip buy. Now a buck in the money here at 2150. But remember where Fubo has come from. It is like miles away from the 50 period. It's got resistance right here at 22. That's where I want to be covering this trade in front of 22 even. Right now, current high 21.57. So I'm really only thinking about a $1.25 on this overall trade.
So right here, guys, I just want to talk about this quickly because if you're not on the sticky note, then I'm not sure. Apple, we talked about this. If you just want to do one trade, I may just do one trade from now on. But there it is, Apple right there. Take the 176 break. I mean, that's basically spoon feeding the trade. And there it is right now on Apple. 30 cents, 60 cents right there. Take it out if you want. We did. We're holding 1/3 of this trade again. I don't know if it's going to win or not on us. And then how about this, man? I mean, you want to talk about it again. And I don't know what else I can do. Look to short in front of 20 on Ford. So here it is at 79, and we're cashing in right now. So we're going to go like this, man. We're going to Superman this trade again here today, as we're going to be huge once again. The only mistake, of course, was taking too many shares on GameStop and then getting stopped out. But we made that. I mean, I didn't get stopped out. My trade got stopped out, and then we re-engaged it. So so far, so good here today. As look at this trade, man. 1990 short. I should just put these all out, man, and talk about this sticky note more and more because it's here to educate you guys, give you an idea of what's going through this thing. You don't want to know everything, but some of these trades are hot fires. So thanks again for watching and paying attention. And, we love you guys as a community, so keep it strong.
So I know someone's saying like Lucid going, trader formerly known as Jude Fernando. Like it's not going till we break out of this range. Like I want to actually see this extend through 43, get up to like that 44, what it's done the last couple of times we've broken out from this range. So as far as I'm concerned, this is not a trade where I'm giving it 20 to 30 cents worth of a range. Like I want to see this actually holding up like a buck and then moving a buck. And I think there's always different styles of trades, but the breakout is certainly one that's given you a couple of dollars the last couple of sessions. GameStop, I can go over that one more time, just because it seems like it's trying to catch a bit of a bid down around that breakout price, this 166 to 167, this pre-market high. As long as it holds up here, there's a chance it could make another spike. But if you look at that target range from the top, that looks like a solid top. And if it does not extend with this market booming here, if it settles down, we could be heading down towards 162 pretty quickly. I did notice that Tesla made a bit of a move, bounced off of 1040, but not quite as big as I thought. Some crazy wicks on my chart, kind of skewing things. Brendo.
Another little one moving back higher after an offering, I should say, Perion Network, which is PERI, down 7%, but just tested that pre-market high there on a huge volume spike. So 22.75 an area for PERI.
Okay, I'm still looking here. I'm just tweeting something out right now as well, as we very, very much watch our trades here, day trading traders, things like that. Okay, so Apple, again, we're a little bit out. This is sort of stopped about 1980, so we're trying to take some dimes on this thing right now. We did get a 79 fill there. We're waiting a little bit lower on Apple. There goes GameStop right now, $5 in the money, so pretty happy, obviously, with the way this one's pairing out for us. So far, so good on that play. We will cancel. I just got to make sure that I have some orders out here properly. I know Neil's looking at Lucid as well, so that's like something else to definitely look at as you're trading through today. Make sure you got your levels on that. GameStop right now, $5 in the money. We are bidding lower than this. I cannot believe that I have the high of the day. That's crazy. But thank God we're still in this name as it's back to in the money for us now. Net positive on GameStop right now, which is unbelievable considering the kind of damage that we took there. So all the way to the downside now, and that's just my bad. Took too many shares, and that's what's going to happen. And I should have put a little bit higher than that, but I was really thinking this 172 would hold. So when it took out 172.50, we got out. I wish it was at 173 because right now, man, you'd hear a way different tone from my trading, but still good. Happy with what we're doing here today on that name. What else have we looked at?
ISIG is open at well past that $20 level, so it actually opened here at 21 and is continuing higher. I wanted to see 20. That would have been the first level. 25 even is yesterday's high. That's going to be the big one. If it tries to get there, I think that's worth a fade. 25s and 30s. On these low float names, you can't just jump in front of any kind of an offer and think it's going to make sense. You got to have somewhere you think liquidity is going to come in. Likely, if it gets to 25, it might have halted on the way there, but I don't necessarily see a trade for myself. ENSC, just to go back to that, well, it gives it again in front of that $6. Bit of a stronger move, able to get some shares at $5.90. Look, average price now 85s because I still have some shares left over from that 70 short. If it breaks 6, I want out, then want to look at 650. I'll take some shares out in front of VWAP because it's looking relatively strong here. It's not one where I want to jump away from the short because it's been working, but at the same time, that is a power move. The volume candle on this pump up was actually bigger than it was at the actual open, so that tends to be a bullish sign. So we'll not average in a third time on this name. Either give me my profit or we can just walk away positive on it.
All right, there it is, man. We're going to go bang with this one because, wow, what a trade, man. What a day for me on GameStop here today. Wow. We just took, what was that, $6? 660, 670 on that trade. And I mean, this is what we just talked about here. This is what I just put out. Apple 176 break on the sticky note. Ford short on the sticky note. GameStop short on the sticky note. Feeling pretty good here, man. We're going to be perfect on our sticky note right now today. And that's just par for the course, to be honest with you. We're really liking, some of the content that we're putting out. So hopefully you guys are hitting that with us here today. A good trade. I'm debating just dropping this Apple, but the NASDAQ just turned positive, so that seems a little silly to me to get out of that trade. But what else is working for me on the downside? Wow. Look at Ford, guys, as this one continues to work. Let's see if we can test some of these pre-market lows, 1970, 1972, something like that. I did want to short DraftKings today, but I was waiting higher. I assume we didn't get it. Yeah, so that was another name that, of course, was on the sticky note today was DraftKings, and we loved the short up here. But unfortunately, we didn't break it off the open, and we just let it fade out. So right now, DraftKings, which is on the sticky note, doesn't give us that fill up to the high side. UiPath down 2% here. Twilio up nicely. Just talking about some of the names that I'm holding here. Hut down. That Nuvei is up nicely to 11. We talked about that, up 11%. NVEI today here actually, I believe that's a NASDAQ name. Yeah, so there it is. That's bumping up. We talked about getting long 56. That never came through. So far, so good here today. Apple now 40 cents in the money. Let's just keep on trading.
Yeah, I'm just eyeballs on ISIG. Threw a stop in. Lucid looks like it doesn't want to go. I'm going to give it to maybe that 75 area or that 50 to 75 area on the 41 handle. ISIG just turned around at 22.50, halfway to 25. That's obviously a line in the sand. I'll show you why, but it doesn't seem like it wants to go. The lower high from the afternoon just got rejected. And look, it's obviously not halting. Well, I mean, it obviously hasn't halted in 1 or 2 minutes here, so it is finding some kind of a consolidation. It does put an area for a stop at 22.50 that makes some sense to me. The spread is starting to tighten up, so if it gives another crack at this 22 without a gigantic volume spike, I'll look to short it in front of 22 with a 22.5 stop. If I can risk less than $1 on it, I think it's going to make sense on a bit of a day trade there, obviously. Fubo TV has come back in, but still above that 21 area. So I think the breakout is still valid and in play here. It has bounced off VWAP. I don't think I want to be reloading at 2060 now that it's extended over $1 here. But if we can bounce off VWAP again, I still maintain the target of $22. So Fubo TV looking like it is absolutely fine. It's Lucid. The long not going to work out today. So I'll go like this. This will be the first. That'll be that hit that you knew was coming eventually on Lucid. It's been a good stock all week long. I haven't had any missteps, but I got away from the shorts that I wanted to reverse it, and clearly that's the wrong decision here. So out of Lucid Motors for me, not yet into that ISIG, although I think it's about to give me that opportunity in front of 22. It's getting close. Bigger offer at 21.90 actually.
That was you know, part of my plan here today was to wait to get Lucid down here. Hopefully we can. I don't know, 41 flat, and then we'll work on the 40 level. So so far it's been so good for us there on some of these names. Okay, so just to talk. I mean, we're trying to get into some more names here. I love me some ABV today. Gets upgraded. What a great top pick, I think, for Morgan or something today. ABV. I mean, this has been in my account for a hell of a long time. We were buying this name hand over fist in the pandemic. It's a big dividend payer. I don't know what the dividend is now, but it was like 5, 6, 7% when we were down there. And then now today, a nice bump up for ABV, up 0.7%, still motoring higher. I don't know if this is recent highs or what, but you know, some hits there. I believe this wasn't Botox. I forget what this was. Some sort of a hit, but obviously they've rebounded from that, came out with earnings, blew it out the water, and just took out, I believe, close to, if not, all-time highs right now on ABV. So another name to look at there. NVIDIA bouncing around 320. That's something that we can look at. Tesla's 1050. Twitter, you know, the name that I didn't think was going to run today is running today. Twitter up again. What are we up here as a percentage?
Oh, wow.
5, 4.5. So that's a big move there for Twitter. So definitely not expecting that as Twitter continues to march higher here. So this is probably, oops, that's still a V chart. This is still a short for me on Twitter. Waiting to find out for the best prices. Here's a 1 minute. We obviously have these wicks. That's crazy. But a 48 is a pretty damn good short there for 48. So we'll watch Twitter out right now coming through. Probably a good short here into 48. I'll probably take this one. What is that, 48.10? Yeah, I like that short. So let's short Twitter. Wow, here comes bussing upside. So let's relook at Twitter in a minute. I'm not in love with that trade.
I did just get ISIG 2170, not 75, 76s. That's pretty much the same thing. 22.5 is the current high. That's going to be the stop out. DWAC, I just noted, gave the pop and roll. You can't have them all, man. I've probably traded a few too many symbols, actually 6 today, so wasn't able to add DWAC even though I was looking at it. It does the pop, failure in front of the high of the day at 65, goes to 64.50, now dropping like a rock. 57 to 58 is going to be that area of support that it might put in there. Brennan's got a name.
Big bounce for Stitch Fix today, guys. We talked about the move lower yesterday. 20 gets broken there on a huge volume spike, so Stitch Fix off to the races, 7%.
Wowzer, Stitch Fix. Yeah, good recovery for them after all. This IINN looks like it's going to break down below VWAP here. 530, well, it's attempting to, at 530. There goes ISIG. So we tried it one time. It's not the 25 level. It's at 2150. It tries to give that lower consolidation, doesn't do so. This is why you have to have a stop, man. Like, this could easily halt to the upside and go to 25 in a heartbeat, and then you could be losing $5. You don't want to lose $5 on a trade like that. GameStop going the other way to the downside. We're going to continue to hold this one through. Yeah. I think there's a decent chance, and look, we'll go to the 15 minutes so you can see. Oh, come on. If it even wants to, there we go. There's a daily chart here, going to show you that 160 level. I think that's sort of the obvious, this double bottom here in front of 160. That's where the cover has to be. I'm not saying GameStop is going to bounce off this level, but it is a pretty hard double bottom. You can see the reversal it put in last week when it hit that price on Friday. And then aftermarket also held that 160. So that's where I want to be getting out. ISIG, like I said, have a stop. It just halted to the upside, which does not surprise me one bit. Current indicated open 24, and that's still not at 25.
Yeah, it's been a rough one for some of those breakers, those meme stocks. Those are crazy sometimes. Okay, so it's just hilarious that right now my number one stock is still going to be GameStop, even though I have that high wick. That's crazy. I can't believe that that's going to be the case, but it is. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now. GameStop, like, because we took a $7. I mean, the issue is here. These are like $3, $4 losers, maybe at most. Not even, because that's a starter position. The issue was right here, this 171 trade, and I'm just embarrassed that I put 172.50. Of course, the spread's going to open up. I should have done 173, but whatever. Then I might have broke that, and then I'd feel bad anyways. So, but big move up to the upside on GameStop, and then bang. This is what happens when you believe in it. You just take it again. Unfortunately, we don't have the same amount of shares. There you go. Wow, man, that sticky note today on that short on some of these levels. So cash, man. We even talked about 173. That's the worst part about it for me, is that we missed an opportunity that we had. It's just too far, too fast there off the open, and got hit on that one candle, like the only green candle. Come on. Anyways, all the way to the downside. $8 winner right now for us on shares with GameStop. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, a nice move to the upside for MTTR at the open. It's now up around 5%. Could you take a look at MTTR for us?
Sure. I mean, we'll look at that in a minute. I just want to talk about Ford right now. Just got some out at 71 right there off that 1990 short. So a good trade right there for Ford for me as we go. MTTR.
That was Matterport or?
I don't know what the name is, but you're back up to the upside right now. If I noticed this earlier, it's on our on hot list. Come on, charts. It's on hot list and whatnot. So we'll have to let this load up. But there it is, 27.8. Let's see what a 20-minute looks like here. Yeah, so you see you're into these levels again. Like 29 is going to be a little bit of a problem. So we'll wait to see where this goes. But a nice bump off 26. Was moving yesterday. Was moving a couple of days. So some big movements here on MTTR. What's the volume? 1.36. Like to see it a little bit higher than that. Right now fading back off that 27.80. Maybe you just buy again at 26 and see if it runs back up. But this is not really my style right now, MTTR.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things that were strong are coming right back in, and it's hard to dip by as the market comes back in pretty heavily itself as well. It's hard to just dip by anything that's failing a breakout. And to that point, I mean, I've already taken Fubo some shares back in, Fubo, and then you see them completely break back down below that 2050 area. So now I want to see 20 hold support. Now I could dig in and get more shares at 2050, 2060. No, I want to see this level here at 20 even start to hold up. Not going to give it the extra 40 cents. I want to remain positive on this particular name, and that's just the way that I would rather approach this market. Looks like Lucid took out 41, so that is continuing to head to the downside. I just have ENSC. It's about 70 cents in the money. I think that can be over $1 ultimately. And then we talked about GameStop, looking at that 160 level to the downside. Now another one, I already talked about Lucid just there, but another one to consider here is you've broken 41. You've only gone about 20 or 30 cents on Lucid. If it were to snap back up at 41 and hold this bid and the market reverses, not a bad wipeout bottom that would have been made here. Obviously, I've taken my long and lost on it, but there's still a chance 41, that price area could still hold, although it'll run out of time if we don't catch a bid soon. Was that Brendan?
A bit of follow through today, guys, on Roku after the YouTube announcement yesterday. We're struggling a little bit here, though, at 264 after taking out yesterday's high, up 3% again for Roku.
Yes, we are struggling at that level. I was still looking at Ford there, not much happening. Apple as well, just to check back on, see what the health of some of these positions are. 176.80. I don't know, man. The NASDAQ's pulled back down and Apple's like still saying that hold my beer. We're not going to do that graphic again, but Apple's still like, whatever, man. Doesn't even care about this market falling right now. So we'll hold on to this one. I'm pretty happy with this. We've already taken out, man, 40 cents and then 60 cents. So, so far so good on that name. We'll take a quick look at Roku because Brendo brought this to us. 267. Wow. Another big move, man, to the upside for Roku today. I mean, yesterday was absolutely, I mean, these are some shorts and some longs and stuff like that we kind of screwed with yesterday. And then you could see a nice move up to 266 here today. Roku, although many people don't know anyone that owns one, that doesn't seem to matter as they get that deal with YouTube yesterday. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously, we're just playing around. There's lots of people that own them. I know they're in TCL TVs, which are very, very popular. And anyways, as we go, but 280, I mean, Roku's getting near those levels, man, where if you bottom picked anything, and sometimes you got to go back and look at some of these charts, there really isn't any levels from 350 all the way down if you go back this far. I'm surprised it sort of broke through 300 right there. But once that happened, you were basically smooth sailing down to this 205. So to me, no surprise there where we bounced. 205 on Roku. So let's wait to see. For me, again, today I already have the big ones on. I have GameStop, which is my number one trade, which is $8 now in the money. So we'll spin that for GameStop. It's too bad. I hope you guys didn't get out where I did. But again, just too many shares, couldn't hold it. It is what it is on that one. But GameStop right now, a monster move for me here today to the downside. I mean, again, we're going to keep looking at that. I'm going to still be crazy embarrassed about it, but that's fine. That's trading for you. I'm not embarrassed. That's a lie. And then here we go. Ford, again, right back to the downside right here now, 1970. So we're excited about the trades today. Roku's an interesting one. We got to look at some more names. Alibaba trying to bounce as well here today. So yeah. Lucid down to 40.
Instant halt ISIG. It opened up, it instantly halted. It opened actually right at 25 and then broke out that level. So there's not much to look at up here, obviously, because you are fresh highs. If you haven't taken profit on this one, it's probably not a bad time. This was a $4 stock just last week. Now a 7x run because it looks like it's its theoretical auction price here is going to be $28 for the time being. So monster move on this particular name. ENNC is going the other way. If it breaks $5, ENSC, which we have to the short side, once we break this, I'm going to probably put a trail on that thing and start thinking about shorting in front of VWAP. But it's been holding the $5 level, so it's not really giving you more than $1, which is still a good return on a $6 stock. But there has been a bit of a bid down at this price before. Every pop to 6 has been an actionable trade there, twice now off the open.
So I just realized we got into Lucid there as I was like, what the hell? It dropped below $41. So we'll see what happens now with Lucid coming back in a little bit. I mean, I'm bidding 40.60, so I switched that to 40.70 right now on Lucid. So we were waiting for some dip buys. We were bidding 40.60. We talked about that in the pre-market. So now we'll switch up our game. We're bidding 40.70 here. See if we get filled on the way back down. And then honestly, if we can get something out around 41.25. That should be a good out for us in and around there. So we're going to look at that as a possible out here for LCID if it does go back in, but it keeps bouncing off my level here. And I don't really want to up my bid, although if I was just 5 cents higher, we would have gotten these shares numerous times over. So let's wait to see here on Lucid. 40.70 is our bid, and we're going to try to defend this all the way down. I don't even have a stop order in, so we'll deal with that once we get filled. And then I just want to talk about this GameStop quickly. There we go. Did we get the Lucid? Yes, we did. So, okay. And then GameStop down here, I don't know. We'll have to find out some levels, but I mean, that 162, we probably could have taken that out right there. This is a 20-minute chart. We've already been down here before, so that 160 looks pretty tasty as well. So we'll see what happens if we do get back to that area of concern there, 160 for Lucid. But right now I'm focused on 160 for GameStop, but right now I'm focused on Lucid as we just got that bid. So
we'll go over Pablo Jimenez. Thank you for the super chat. We'll go over ISIG again. No problems doing that. I still see, actually, no, it just changed. 27.44, it looks like the indicated open. So it's going to open, it should be in about 2 minutes or so. And for now, it looks like it wants to open flat. So the last couple of halts, it did indicate higher both times and obviously opened higher each time. One sign that momentum can be slowing down certainly could be the fact that if it opens flat, that would also be in front of the $30 level. So just because it indicates open at flat doesn't mean it can't pop up. But the fact that it opens here and fails at 30, I would try for a short off that price. But if you're looking at levels upside, it's air. You're only talking about air and even dollar levels, and then where other traders like to jump into the short, which I think will be in front of 30. From that, I look at the halt prices to the downside. So this 23.90 to 24 area is your first area of support. If I shorted anything, you're out in front of that particular price. Oh, wow, it's already 10 o'clock. That means we got to get to Brendan. Time for some happening now.
Hey guys, you have red numbers to show you across the board here this morning. Not huge moves, but the S&P 0.3, the Dow about the same there. You can see it is some of the small caps leading the way right now, specifically the 2000, 0.65 for the Russell to the downside, 0.39 for the NASDAQ Composite, 0.3 for the 100 to the downside as well. Even here in Toronto, about 0.5% in negative territory at this point. A couple of things we were discussing in the pre-market there. Yeah, Twitter topped out 48, coming back into 47 at this point. Volume, a bit of a problem at this point for Twitter, but still trying to hold some key levels, but seems to be coming back to the downside. Seattle Mobile, big mover beginning of the week on positive news. Tried again in the pre-market here. 580 at the top there. It's back to 480 now, looking pretty weak, guys, for SYTA.
Sometimes it's easy. I mean, I don't know. When it works out, it's easy, man. Lucid, very, very simple trade for me there. Bang! There it is again, man. Let's go. Let's fire off some hot dogs. What's up to everybody watching again? But there it is right there. Lucid, man. Very, very simple trade for me today. We talked about defending that 40. Comes in, we do that, and there it is. So we're out of half of this trade. That last one was like... I don't know what that was, but 40, 50 cents there. We're long at 40.70, remember. You can see the position right now on board. So nicely taken here on Lucid. Let's see if we get back up to VWAP, like areas of concern here where we've been struggling, 41.80, 41.60. Let's put an offer right around here, 41.50 or so on LCID. So that's going to be a spot here. Hopefully, if we're lucky enough to get that. We don't put her on enough, but we're putting her on right now. What's up, Miss V?
Hey guys, thank you everyone for your super chats and for likes. We appreciate your support so much. And real quick, we already have 1,100 likes. Yesterday we got 3,000. So team, if you didn't like this video yet, please do it right now. And we've got a super chat from Austin Gappert. What do you guys think of QCOM? Any thoughts on QCOM?
Sorry about that. I missed that. I was listening to Neil talking about the top there, which hopefully you got or missed or I don't know what. But thank you so much for Peeper. We'll go to Neil in a second. Thank you so much for Peeper. It's about the sticky note, guys. I don't know when NU goes live, but I'm really waiting for that one, eagerly waiting. And thank you for the call outs there on Lucid and on Apple, man. I mean, we're continuing to put on hopefully a great show for you and hopefully putting some money in your pocket. So what's up there, Neil?
No, we opened up, we tested in front of that 30. I just keystroked the stop order, by the way. So instead of getting right out at 30, I had to punch out at the high. It's still the high. That's why I said that's the top. Because I'm like, I just punched out. That is going to be the top. At least it looks like it was going to be the top. For now, it seems like it's going to go higher. I was about to jam short because there is a refresher at 30 on the bid. And if it takes out 30, actually, I'm just going to put a stop order. If it takes out 30 to the downside, then I want to get back into this one. So I want the momentum to come into the downside first. I have to go over to DWAC as well because that took out this 63.50 level and is on its way to 65. I can't short in front of 65 if I'm currently in a long position, so that breakout is 63.50. It's going to take you to the top end on DWAC here. Now, if DWAC is going to do that reversal, I should have done it at the open. Instead, when it broke out of the opening range, it's a scalp long, but I still maintain that I usually like to shorten the stock. I'm not going to get away from that here. And this is your high from yesterday's price action, so ISIG just reclaimed 30 even. If DWAC takes out this level here at 66.30, that's when you know it's probably gangbusters up to 70. But for now, let's go back over to that ISIG in a second.
So we took out some 1970 there on Ford. I mean, that was a good level. Whenever we get, and again, you know, hopefully you guys are enjoying the show and then learning a little bit as well about how Neil and myself trade and some of the risks that we put on and things like that. And I think I did a good job there with GameStop explaining to you, you know, too many shares had to get out and then repunch back in when we were more confident. So that's like not blowing out your account, right? I mean, we're trying to have, you know, multiple successful days here in a row and make the right trades. And as long as they're there, they're there. So that's what brings me to this next explanation of Ford. And I mean, it goes right back in. I can put this up so you can see maybe you can't see the time anyways, but it doesn't really matter. We go back in here to the day's low of the pre-market. So that gets hit. You also came into the low of the market when we just opened up here at 1970. So that's a clean out right there. So we're getting it out, and then now we're realizing, oh my God, the market's starting to rip a little bit here. And as goes forward, back up to the upside. So we just did take some more 80s out there. It's been a big trade for me. I mean, Ford is going to be my #1 stock. GameStop would have been if I would have got it out down here at 163, but for some reason we let it go all the way back up to 170 right now, GameStop. So again,
I want that all day though.
Yeah, we've emptied it out down here, which was good. And again, the same empty out happens, right? Once it comes back into some of these pre-market levels, and I know it's earnings, so the pre-market levels may be a little bit, you know, back and forth there, but at the same time, that's going to be a big out right there. So you take that out, and then we hold for that sort of moonshot, and this way it would be a downward move. And we got it, but we didn't take it. So right now we'll wait for this 160 or so bottom coming through. If it happens, great. Lucid right now, man, I mean, like I said, that's going to be a big one for me. So we'll fire off the hot dogs for Lucid. Hopefully it gets back up to 41.50, and then we can get out. So that's going to be my next out is 41.50 there on Lucid. So that's good, man. Ned, any ads for the long-term portfolio? I mean, I just added NVIDIA the other day, was my last one. NVIDIA at 291. What else? I've been buying, I bought ARC, but that was low. That was like 93.50, so that was a good one. Haven't been averaging into Palantir. That's it. I'll have to look back at my Twitter. I'm not sure the last couple things I've tweeted out for buys, but definitely NVIDIA and ARC were the last.
One could be in play that I just got, which was a firm. Oh yeah, now it's like another breakout on the stock. The stock just continues to want to break out. So I actually just got 30s down to 29, and then it broke out at 31, which that looks like it's a failed break to the upside there. So I'm going to get out of the long. It doesn't look like it wants to take the top there. I actually just bought a firm. I'm actually on the bid right now. Trying to pick up 120s as the market looked like it might have obliged me there. Obviously, it did not. I just talked about, while you were mentioning it there, I said GameStop to me is going to be an all-day trade. I intend on, like, if it doesn't take out that high, I don't ever want to get out of this thing. And it's not, at the end of the day, like I would love to have a reload at 170. It only got to a 169 print here. So if it had gone a little bit higher, I probably would have reloaded. But it's 160 or bust. And as long as it puts in lower highs, I think there's a chance to stay in this trade for the long haul. It's sort of like this ENSC. Whoops. ENSC. It's on the, here we go, NASDAQ. It's like this ENSC. We finally broke that 5 even. Now I'll short it in front of VWAP if it tries to get back up there. My bid's down at 450. I just feel like this could again be an all-day type of hold, and a firm which has a great look. There's obviously great levels on a firm way down here. I'm looking at 120. It already bounced once off 123, but it's still in a downward trajectory with the overall market. At the end of the day, you're still sort of seeing a bit of a top here. I just saw, we just got right back to that 16.3 level on the NASDAQ. So that's back down 1/3%. If it turns into a more of a red day, firms are, look, the high valuation names are going to be a lot weaker when we get a market pullback. Apples will hold up, but things like a firm are going to drop. So I'm looking right back to this 120 level. I've been sitting here since the pre-market. If we get there, great. Otherwise, you just might not see a trade for me in a firm. I'm willing to be very, very patient with it. INN was the other small cap name that I think Brendan was trading. It is still not taken out this 480 level. This was pre-market high. It then broke out 480 to about 840, and it's still been trying to bounce off this. Keeps on rejecting lower highs. If 480 goes, I do think this one can be one of those short for the rest of the day kind of ideas.
All right, so we just tried, so I guess, were you talking about a firm for your trade now or for long term?
Both.
Both.
A firm for the long term. That was like last week at 106. And oddly enough, remember, the 106 fill came on the crazy down day on Friday, and then I swear, I told you this, I didn't even notice on Monday morning that a firm had broken 100 and got to 96 until after it already happened. And it was back at my price. I didn't even know it dropped 10%. That's how fast things were on Monday.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like if you weren't bidding Monday morning, there's no chance you're getting those prices. You had to kind of see it in there, like, oh, it's going to drop and they're going to come back. And that's why stink bids exist and why we keep saying that somewhat ridiculous term.
So Apple, as the market falls down here, we did try Apple. Apple broke 1 cent through 175, so that was out. So Apple right there, out. We tried it one more time at 175.50. It dropped down through there. You can see the NASDAQ starting to fail a little bit here one more time. As I want to talk about Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's failing as well, down to 48 and change. But right now, it's Brendan.
I was just going to mention this GOTU, another one of those Chinese online education firms popping up on volume, but not really doing a heck of a lot. So I'll throw this one at you as well. RETA, another little pharmaceutical company making moves today back to the upside after we discussed this one, but through that 34 was decent. Back to the upside through 36 now for Reda. Okay. 175. I mean, I'd like to get back. Unfortunately, our charts, I guess
I'm watching
zoom in here.
I don't know if you're looking at something. I'm watching Twitter right now because it just tried to break that 48. Remember the 48 level we're talking about? It just attempted to break that 48. And apologies for these crazy wicks on the chart. They're insane. But it failed to break out. The market's now looking like it wants to reverse on us here. If it takes this support out, it's about 46.80 to 47. Things could get really spicy for Twitter to the downside. I think it's a short in front of the new high it just put in. That's at 48.25. Otherwise, you're probably having to wait for a 46.80 short. It just feels like if we're going to put a reversal, I mean, Apple turning negative, we sort of talked about not liking some of the longs if that was going to be the case. Looks like through 30 one more time. I'm taking one more chance at ISIG, but it has to be at that 30 price, which I just missed. Twitter short in front of 48 even, or if we break 46.80 to the downside, I think it's the former that will come first.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we're trying to be as patient as we can here with Apple. I like a 175.30 break. Like if we can get above 175.30 here, just kind of some of these areas right into here. I mean, realistically, it's probably this 175.50 area, but we do have a bottom here at 174.75 right there, which kind of goes with what we had right off the open, which is this 175.50 bottom. So we'll take a piece here. I just didn't get filled there, did I? No. So if it breaks through I just want to make sure I have the order right so I can tell you guys. Yeah, 175.30. So a break. Here we go. So we're going to get into this right now. You'll see me get back into Apple now after taking a slight hit there on the way back in. So I still like this name. We'll see if the NASDAQ can hold up here. It doesn't look like it wants to, but that was a big drop down. We still have some of these levels down here. So that should coincide with that Apple 174, 174.50. So we will take one more stab at this name here today, and then see if the NASDAQ does hold. So that's going to be Apple here. It's it's funny. I picked 175.30. I mean, there we go. That was like the spot that we're struggling at right there. So now we'll go 175.30. We are now long on Apple. So there we go, man. This is a call that we've just made right now. We'll see if it can get back up here to VWAP. That's 50 cents. We'll take out a piece there if we could get it, but it needs to get there first. So 175.70, 175.80, an area that I'm looking at here for Apple.
And another name, well, another big cap name that I think some people might be watching and should watch closely is NVIDIA. It put a nice strong breakout at the open, but this is pre-market support at 34.75, around 315, and then a couple of times it's tested this level again and again. Now barcoding down here. I mean, NVIDIA showed some relative weakness before a bit of a recovery in the afternoon. We saw that drop down. It bounced around the same price and just whipped right back. It was on volume and it turned around right around that 314 to 315 area, and now you're seeing that be a bit of a low. So if it takes that bottom out, I think it's another bad sign for some of the names in the market here. I didn't get that Twitter short. It's like, I guess we didn't get the fill there. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, it ran away. I said very likely to be the former that Twitter was going to test up here and give the fill in front of 48. I figured that was going to happen before it broke the bottom. I guess I could be wrong. I might have to chase this one down, although I do not want to do that. The short up top is in front of the high of the day at 48.25, so the risk reward obviously changes the further away that you get it. Otherwise, it's a breakdown trade, and you're waiting until it gets to 46.80. That's still a good 70 cents away. So not to be patient with Twitter. Neither entry has filled just yet.
Yeah, and I'm going to put another bid down here. We just took an 83 there on Ford. Didn't even realize that we dipped back in here to 78, so we're going to put a bid there again just in case that happened. So Apple does go. I mean, Apple went up for us there, up to about 175.60 or so on that move, or 175.50, sorry, on that move. So we were only 20 cents in the money. We're not going to take that out for Apple. We are expecting a little bit higher. 70s is our plan of action on that one. We haven't looked at Palantir, today or or yesterday, but it does make that move to $20 again today. Like, I really am done with Palantir as far as getting new money into this name right now. We're just going to wait for it. It's been struggling. I've been using that word a lot today. I was listening to some podcasts and the guy kept saying it. Now it's in my head. But down to the downside here, 19 and change. For Palantir, obviously we talked about some of those Rivian and Lucid and Affirm and all those stocks that tanked here on Friday. We weren't here, but that touched 18.20 there, and now bumped up to $20. So you're getting $2 off that bottom. And like I said today, I was wondering about this market just to see what we were going to do. I thought today was going to be probably, and we talked about this on our sticky note, right? Today was going to be a red day, and just watch out, put some brakes on some of these trades. So today for Palantir, up to $20. Nice level. We're pretty happy with that, obviously, because it's not 18. But again, I'm not going to be looking at this until we're low 19s again. It has to be back down in here for me on Palantir to look at as a day trade. If you're looking to invest, I think right now is a good time. I like Palantir for the long term. We've talked about that over and over again. It's a relatively new name coming to market just last year. So we'll wait to see where it goes from here. But we're right at some of these levels that I like. We like DraftKings at like 31, 32, and you're seeing where that is right now. Don't want to make a mistake on Palantir, but again, I hold it, so take that with a grain of salt. What's up, Brendo?
I just mentioned this Seattle Mobile. They're at 10 o'clock, not really doing much, kind of fading off, and then this happens, bang, right back to the upside. Very, very tiny float on this, so remember, these moves can happen whenever they feel like it. 23% volume coming back in here for SYTA.
Right into this to you. I don't know if you remember what the float was on Seattle. I know it's tiny, but are we talking like 1 million?
No, I don't think it's that tiny. No, I think it's much bigger.
4 million. Okay, 4 million.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it was that tiny.
Almost a distinction without a difference there. So I don't care what the price is. That means it opens up to like ideas like halting and crazy moves. So you already saw what happened on ISIG. I probably made top wick trying to short that thing, and now it would be in the money. So you can be right about a top or right about an idea, but I'm going to be negative on the stock despite only wanting to short it off of that level, and it looks like it's going to be good. Trading it is not the easiest thing in the world. That's what we tell people. It's not a bad idea to sit out. I can tell you $6 is a key level. If it gets here on SYAT, it's about 15% away from getting there. It's still a chance that it might do that. Twitter just keeps on falling. I should have just hit it short instead of sort of waiting for an extra 10 to 15 cents to the upside. And as the market continues to test lower, 16,300 coming into play potentially on the NASDAQ in the next few minutes or so. You're going to see NVIDIA start to test back down towards that key bottom that it did make in the afternoon show. It was a weird, random, no news event that hit all of the chips, all the major chip names at the same time. The bottom that got put in was around 314.50 or so, where the volume started to kick in. I think at that level, breaches on NVIDIA, that could be in some trouble. And probably the same thing, if you look at the Marvel chart, probably the same thing you'll be watching there. Still want to be involved if we can in NVAX. I know there's possibility of news coming in. It's starting to creep back up to that, I guess, higher low or whatever you want to put it, or sorry, lower high, I should say, that it put in just early in the morning. So 187 to 190 looks like resistance. It's got a skittish bid, meaning when it starts to fall, the bid just pulls the rug, which is typical when you are anticipating news come out. People don't want to get caught with their pants down. So if you can find a good level to be in where you know your out is going to be, like maybe that 190 area, then that can work for you. And of course, as I said, like ISIG, this is why it's a tricky one today. It just halted into the upside. Like it just halted up 32.06 when it looked like it was about to break down at 28. So still another halt there in GameStop for life or until 160. It looks like 160 is about to come. 163 on the bid right now.
Yeah, GameStop. I mean, a monster trade, man. We're loving GameStop right now. $8 in the money on that one, and unfortunately, we could have not retired, but we could not definitely not made any more trades. Okay, Lucid right now. We just took a 41 bid there. It's just been bouncing around too much. We still have some on board. We're long at 40.70, but again, it's just like I'm long Apple here. I'm watching the market starting to fall down, and obviously we're short Ford, we're short GameStop. So my only long Apple, which I like. Obviously, we've talked about why, and this Lucid. So, I mean, I have two longs here. I'm not overly positive on the market. We've talked about that. It's barcoding now, looking to take out lows, so that's not a good sign. For Apple, though, I'm going to marry this one down to 175. We're long right now. I mean, we're only out 20 cents. Let's not get carried away here on our Apple trade. But we are going to average in down here like 174.50 or so, and then we'll see if 174 holds. And if it doesn't, then yeah, Bob's your uncle, and we'll go on from there. But I think Apple should hold, especially if this market bounces back up. I mean, we're just one or two moves higher. Like if we could take out the 16,350 right here, that's 350, but it's more like 340, and then sort of change this to upside and put this as support rather than right now it seems like it's resisting this. So if we can break above and trade somewhere near this view up here, then we'll be pretty happy, let alone if we get all the way back up here. So if the NASDAQ can go, I think we have a decent winner here for Apple. So I do want to get a likes count as well. So we'll go back to Valeria in a second. But right now it's Brendan. What's up?
They're on Boeing, guys. Looks like American going to cut back on some of their international flights. So I did see some volume coming into Boeing to the downside. Down anyways on the day, but heads up Boeing looking a little weak here for BA.
Uh-oh, Boeing. Yeah, I mean, look, the weakness trying to continue here. It's still going to be like that. Where are you, NVIDIA, that's going to be for me. But it did not get down to that 315 again. Looks like it doesn't want to bounce right off of that level. I don't want to chase this. It's like your support is just below that 315 to about that 314, 30 to 50 area like we showed in yesterday's action. So I really would rather be rather long in front of it. Within $1. So I'm not going to chase this to the upside at 316. Kind of hoping that, I don't want the market to come down, but kind of hoping the market coming down would give me a better bid. Ms. V?
Hey Neil, like update from me for you. 1,400 likes currently, and more than 6,000 people are watching. Team, we can do better. Please make sure you like this video. Also subscribe to our channel. And if you joined us for the first time, we're live every day from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. Eastern. So please support the community and let's increase the like button amount. Back to you.
And one of the things we can give you is I see Sherveen saying ISIG indicating a 35 open. I can tell you now looks like 33, which is about $1 from where it was, $1 from where it closed and change. SYCATA, which Brendan just went over, that is right back up, and it's holding resistance at this pre-market level here, the lower high at 550. So that does set it up for a bit of a scalp breakout at 550. Just take what you can because the high of the day sits there at 6 even. Ignore these wicks. It never happened. This top is 550. I can tell you for sure. So 550 sets up for a break. It can be shorted in front of it if that's your thing. It is something that I absolutely like. And someone's asking, how do we manage and you trade? Can't place a market on open order. We put limit on open orders, which effectively are the same thing. Like I can put a limit at $25 or $50, and it'll print at the open, and you'll get a first fill. Now, what I usually like to do is the first even dollar or obvious area of support. So, I mean, look, I have Seattle up, so I can talk about it. Like, imagine a scenario where it opens up, and let's say it's right here, and you get a 525. Now, NU is not going to open at that price. In that particular sense, I'm likely to just want to have a stop at $5. So let's say Nuvei opens at 21, I get long at $21. I'll usually put a $20 stop in at that particular point. Sometimes I try to give it to that even. If I see a monster bid show up, a lot of times I will adjust my stop to wherever that monster bid is. Usually it's at that even dollar range. So I identify the first level of support like that. Right now, it's a little bit far away to have any indication as to where it is going to open, even though you might get an indicative price. As it gets closer to 11 o'clock, we'll have some better updates for you there. But I try to find that first level of support. If I find a monster level, a lot of times I'll add to the long position in front of it. And we're going to add to your knowledge by sending you to Brendan for the small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, tricky day in small cap world. One of those days where direction was kind of hard to find right out of the gate. We mentioned this Ocugen popped up in the pre-market here. It did give you a very, very nice retest of 650 right off the bat there for OCGN. Proceeds to give it all back and then some. Day lows right now down 1% after being higher. Earlier, IINN, I was just talking to Ms. V about how some of these are, very hard to trade because of the low float. You get moves that are outside of the range. But then when it does start to kind of show its hand, you want to make sure you're in the right direction. So going to be patient with this one. I feel like we get 450 and 4 at some point today for IINN. Could be wrong, but a slow mover so far. Lots of volume though. ENSC, this was the one that was in the right direction. Gets stopped out there at 580, which was the pre-market high. I might have given it to day highs, but I just had too many shares. Got back in right away, and now we're at day lows for ENSC. So a bit of a choppy day so far for small caps, guys. Back to you.
All right. So look, great description there. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we're, teaching to Ms. V and hopefully to you guys as well. I mean, that some of this information that you're getting, and all of us, 20 plus years on the board. I think we have, 35 or something amongst all of us. It might even be more than that. But right now, we'll fire off some hot dogs. There's a lot of people got excited there for Lucid. We didn't get out. Oops, that's not Lucid. That's Rolls Royce, as we're looking at that as well. I was trying to scalp some Rolls Royce, but that's not doing anything. Okay, so Lucid goes, and this is the funny thing. We didn't get anything out, and we should have. It went right to VWAP, and I thought I didn't have an order there. You know why? Because I canceled it to put this order out. So no excuse there, but it goes right to that VWAP. A lot of people mentioning, oh my God, there goes Lucid. Well, look what's happening now, man. It just got hit right back down now. So, I mean, some of these names just going for wild rides again. I'm not going to average into this Lucid trade. Let's see where it goes. We do have a bid lower than this. So if it does come in, then that's where we'll get filled. And then we will put an offer back here in case that does happen one more time, man. Like 41.30, we got to take that if that happens again. Obviously, every trade that I make, I keep saying this, but they're all on me, and it is what it is. But that one, I definitely missed. I thought I had an offer here at VWAP. We would have been out, but we don't. So that's what that is, and we'll just move on from that. 1.7K, thank you so much. If you haven't turned that around, please do that. If you're on mobile or if you're watching it, just if you're watching on TV and you can't do it, open up your mobile and please hit that like, because we're trying to get to 3,000 again like we got yesterday with only a half hour left here. We'll see. Okay, we're about to get flushed out because look what's happening right now. So I'll hit the reloaded because that's what we are right now on Apple. But look at the NASDAQ right here. It did exactly what we said, man. It went right back up to this level. Right? Unbelievable call on that. Did I make money on it? No. It goes all the way back up here, right to where we said that. We're waiting for it to fail. It does fail, and then it's like, see you later, alligator, and all the way back down now to day's low and lower. So that's not going to be good for me because we are now, we'll do it one more time because it's my favorite. We took that 174.50 right now, so our average price 174.90. So yeah, it's not a crazy trade here or anything like that against me. But if we do break 174 on Apple there, I said we wouldn't be short That was yesterday we said we wouldn't be short. Today we were actually quite nervous about the long and only liked the long because we broke 176. We hit that, we took some profits, then we tried it again here, doesn't work, and then we're doubled in now one more time. So a breakthrough of 174, and unfortunately, guys, we will have to dump this trade. So we're going to watch out for Apple breaking back down below 174. But for now, we're reloaded and we don't mind it. $8 in the money on GME though.
This shouldn't have mattered, but when the market made a fresh low, ENSC just decided to take out that 450 level, or hit that 450 level. So I just got out of this one altogether. It was a short in front of 6. It does give you the push all the way down to the pre-market breakout price. When retail comes in at 7 a.m., I like some of those price levels for targets, so we're able to get out of that one. Someone was just asking about Tesla. Was Nelson there, Nelson Vega? What I'll tell you about Tesla is that 1040 has been an interesting price range for Tesla. It is now trying to break down at that price. It's not on my radar for a breakdown here because it has support from, if you go back onto Tuesday, I wasn't here on Tuesday, but if you look at this 10.25, probably a little bit juicier. You go back to last week, it was resistance turning into support. So I think $15 down is where Tesla could get interesting at 1025. I looked at and liked Nvidia for that 315 level. You're now testing that bottom, so patience, I guess, is a virtue. It cracks 315. It holds up at that yesterday's, I guess, wick bottom in the afternoon. I don't know what to call it. It was random. There was no news. So it dropped like $2.50, but it bounced at about 314.30. So right in that target range, a bit of a bottom. Now I can take 315s on Nvidia, give it to that 314.30, and then I'm risking hopefully less than $1 on that trade. Still holding on to GameStop. That could be an all-day type of thing. And of course, we're going to get to that NU whenever it does open. There's zero indication, like the theoretical price hasn't even changed, so they're not even updating the auction, which means they're nowhere close, in my opinion, to opening that.
Yeah, no, I'm not even. I mean, I have that. You guys know I have that 500 shares. We'll adjust that if and when we see fit based on the price. But if it's going to be $9,
it's not going to be 9. It won't
probably take more than 500 shares.
It's not going to open at 9. No way.
We'll see. Anyways, okay. There it is, man. We'll just keep hitting the home runs here. Is that Pokeroo home run? That's a home run. Bang. Wrong sport. So obviously no one's cared about baseball. Baseball's not even happening next year, apparently. Right now we'll go money bags right here. And Ford right now. 1990 there. Short. Just back out. Today's low. So although it looks like we're going to get cracked here on Apple, we did talk about some of the shorts that we had on board. So this is going to be a good one here for Ford. Again, another sticky note name. So can we have animation to get it? So with the gunshots are a little much for me this early. Yeah. Well, I like that reload. I was just reading the note there. Thank you for your comment there. We will look at that right now, that reloaded. But obviously it's from a movie. But okay, let's go over. I think we got Brendan. Yeah, Carlito's way. We got Brendan right now. What up?
Yeah, there's a note on CBS this morning, guys. They were talking about expansion plans and accelerating those expansion plans in the pre-market. So this thing was up nicely. Pre-market gets sold off hard down to 94, but day highs here now 4% for CBS.
Yeah, we're just screaming down. So we tried that one, less than $1 stop on that Nvidia. So I knew I wanted that price range, but it just broke down. I'm trying to get Twitter short, which is, oh yeah, we're still 25 cents away from that 46.80 bottom. And it's not the low of the day. It's just, it was barcoding all pre-market long from about 8:30 tonight to the open right here on support of 46.80. So when that breaks, that's the short I'm looking for. Tesla 1025 is about where I think it could put in a top. We talked about NVAX all morning here. If you get it wrong the first time, I'm telling you, load. I know, it's one of those. We talked about NVAX, thinking it would make a retest of that top. Not so much. It's just looking only weak. I know the market's overall weak. It goes red at 181 with the market dropping here. It goes red at 181.75, but this support level is 181. If that gets taken out, that's setting up for another short. So I mean, I kept wanting to have longs. I just got stopped out in less than a minute on Nvidia. I'm looking at Twitter through 46.80 to the south side, NVAX through 181 south side. Not a lot of longs I'm liking here, but I guess we could find a bid. The overnight low, trying to bounce here on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're hoping to find some lows here as well, somewhere on this. I mean, right now we are struggling, as we say. Again, I don't know why we're doing that, but there goes Apple right now, down to that 174. So it's testing those levels. This is my out, right? So again, we break back down below that, man. We're going to be out of AA PL. So get ready for that. If you see me out of that name, you're going to know why, as Apple breaking through 174 right now. So we'll see if that's going to go up or down. Who knows on that one. Lucid, we're still waiting. Ooh. No, stop it. We're waiting at 40.20 right now on Lucid. We'll see if we get that bid, but now we're just gonna have to up it. You know what? It's like, I don't know if I'm saying these two publicly or not, but like that 40.20, it just literally bounced off me for 1 cent down there. So I'm gonna just fix my bids a little bit here and go back over to Brendan.
Funware just popped back up, guys. I guess we're getting back down to this initial low here, 350 held as support. Got a nice pop. These are actually trading. Or this one, I should say, is actually trading. I was watching CFVI as well, very similar to DWAC once again. So 8% downside back towards the lows for PHUN. Remember, more Bitcoin for them announced in the pre-market. 10:30, that means there's an hour left in the day over in Europe, in European markets. Miss V is watching. What's going on over there? What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are slightly down. Unicredit trading in Italy is up more than 10% after saying it will pay out more than $18 billion in share buybacks and dividends to shareholders by 2024. Back to you.
Yeah, here we go. Day lows for the S&P as we speak as well, guys.
Maybe at the day low, but we're not at 160 yet on GameStop, so that's still holding support at the low there. 162, 163 is holding up. AVCT, which was an immediate stop out at 140, it put in a high off the open at 144. That seems like a random price, but I can tell you that was it flushed out at about 740 in the pre-market at that price, and then it's put in another test of the same price range. So call it 145 just because it's a nice round number. I think I like the short here. I'd probably give it a penny or two in front of that range, sorry, on the north end of that range, because I don't like the reversal into the long. The volume is not with this move. So when that's the case, a lot of times I don't like the reversal. When you're taking a breakout and a stock gets up 38%, you want to make sure that there's actually, some other buyers that are in there. So I'm going to go back into the well here at about 43 short. I'll give it through 145 by a couple of pennies and go with an area stop. Of course, as I say that, I'm only chasing it. I'm not even chasing. I'm just going to sit on the offer here at 42 and see if we can't get that fill. It looks like once again on Twitter, we are thwarted. I wanted Twitter up in front of 48. It comes within pennies of giving me the fill and then drops. I wanted Twitter on a breakdown of this support at 46.80. It comes within pennies of breaking the level and then pops away from it as well. So, I'm going to stick to the thesis. Either I'm short in front of that high of the day or I'm short as it breaks down. I don't want any other way of an entry into Twitter here. I'm not going to force the trade. You just can't be doing that. That IINN that I believe Brendan just mentioned, it's not on my radar till it gets back to 6, or I think I talked about this one as well, breaking this 470 to the downside. It holds that support. So it's either short in front of the high of the day or breaks that 475. Now GameStop, I think it's got its chance. With the market this week, now GameStop is trying to test this 162. As a matter of fact, I'm canceling this bet. I want it closer to 160. If it bounces and puts in another a higher low, I'll probably try and just take it out for the $8 winner. Seems like it doesn't want to break the low of the day. And we talked about how this could be a thing where the difference between GameStop and your DocuSigns and your Stitch Fixes, which have disappointing earnings, and those drop like 20% or 25% or 10% in GameStop 6, it's because a lot of the shareholders, they don't care about the fundamentals. They're going to hold on to their shares and not panic when it makes a little bit of a drop. So that's the only explanation I can give for why GameStop is managing to hold up only down 6% after what I don't think could be termed by anybody as a positive earnings report or conference call.
Look, I can't believe we talked about Twitter up here at 48, man, and I can't believe I talked about how this was I hate this stock and how it's weak and how I don't like it and yada, 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 and then we don't short it when it makes these highs. So that was a pretty good trade there, man. Like, we definitely should have shorted that. Like, it only goes up 15 cents, 20 cents against you. Like, darn, that's definitely right there. Big time missed opportunity. So we'll move on from it, but I just want to let everybody know that was a trade right there, 48 down there. I mean, I don't know if we break lower here. I'm already into Apple, which looks like that's 70 cents out right now. But Twitter right now, 46, what is this bottom? 46.90 or so. So it looks like you're going to take that out, man. I think Twitter's a weak stock. I think Kathy Wood, pulling at strings here, saying that this is a big play for NFT and things like that. I've never heard of anything like that. But again, She could be right, so we'll wait to see. But still, Twitter, no good. I think the trade of the day for me, for sure, and I'm going to review this on our trade of the day, so come back at 2 p.m. But GameStop, I just had too many shares, and we get stopped out there. And right now, you're back now at this day's low. So good trade. I know Neil just went over it, but I can't believe we have that wick there. But I'm going to punish myself and talk about this more when we get back for the trade of the day. I think that's going to be a good one. Lucid right now, we just did get that 30 bid. We changed it, man. We were at 20, then we went to 30. So now we're long Lucid right here. Our average price $40.43. So that should show you that, we did empty this trade out here, and we just had a small piece left. So now we're putting on a trade right now, giving us an average price right here. So far, so good on this. I think a good out for this one will be 40.70, right around here. If we can somehow get back up and clean up some of this. Here we go back to the upside right now with Lucid. So this could another one, be one of my number one stocks today. We just have winners on this. But again, it has to keep going. So 40.60 maybe we'll try. Well, that's only 20 cents. We'll go to 40.70 this area. You don't like to look at it from like a monetary value when you're trading. Obviously, you want to just try to get it out at the right levels there. So that's why I'm looking right around here, 40.60 maybe. All right, we'll try. We'll try some 40.60s, and then that way we can bump up our next one around 41. So 40.60 first area there. We'll take 20 cents on Lucid if we can get that, and then we'll adjust higher if the market does rip. There goes GameStop again. Back down to day's low, man. That
just
one
can't break it though.
I'm pretty sure it will. But
I think so too.
Yeah, you're right though. It can't break it right now.
And another stock, look, this is an idea of what's happening in the market. Go to DocuSign. DocuSign just turned red on the day. Thank you guys. Another reason why it's the best community out there, it's because, hey, we got a lot of stocks we're watching. I've traded half a dozen today. I'm only in still GameStop, but DocuSign wasn't on my radar. And then it pops to 164 legit and is right back to yesterday's afternoon support levels, 152. I mean, if you break this down at 152, there is, room. Like, there is a lot of room to fall because it was a monster breakout from 140. Like, it did a $10 move, and it just rejected a $10 move. You do not want this market. If the market takes out the low, and I'm really concerned about the NASDAQ, I suppose. And then if 152 goes here on DocuSign, it's got all kinds of trouble. A reversal like this, if it bounces, I think you're shorting a pop in a 156, 157. It's just when you get a crazy wick like this that immediately reverses, you start to get very, very bearish on a stock. And I'd maintain that Tesla inching and creeping down to that 1025 level. It does look that that's definitely going to be in play. This IINN, which I thought a couple of minutes ago was about to test up towards $6. No, absolutely not. It decides not to. I waited very patiently, and Twitter has finally hit that 46.80 level. So it has broken that bottom. I've now gotten into position here. Do I still like it if I get a pop into VWAP to add to it? Sure, why not? But this is more about the market reversing to the downside and then looking at this 15 minutes is going to be ugly because look at that crazy wick. But it still gives you an idea. This low down here at 45 to 50, this is like $1.30 away from pre-market support and the afternoon support from yesterday. So if I think that it's got $1.50, $1.50, $1.40 or so to our target, obviously I'm not going to be sitting here, with a 10-cent stop or a 15-cent stop on Twitter, which sometimes would be the case. Just not going to happen. I think there's room to the downside. And if the market takes out the low, then we should start to see some of those. DocuSign could be upcoming. Tesla, 1025, definitely coming into play. GameStop, for whatever reason, in this flush in the market, is still holding an iceberg now at 162. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here watching all these stocks, dip, rip, things like that. I can't believe we don't have that Twitter short at 48. That sucks, but there goes, as promised, there goes GameStop breaking the low. We'll see if it can hold out at 160 right now. But over at the big screen, looks pretty mixed. Obviously more red than blue. So we'll go over to Brendan and see what he has to say about the big board.
Hey guys, some of the strength we've seen over the past couple of days, missing obviously today, down 0.5% here for the S&P, and I'm speaking particularly of some of the travel names, so the cruise lines, the airlines, all to the downside today. These are the cruise lines, mostly in the consumer discretionary, but 1.5% to kind of 2.5% for casinos through to the cruise lines, pushing also the retail names to the downside. Etsy leading today. 2% to the downside, so consumer discretionary is weak. CVS, we just talked about there in the healthcare group, 4% to the upside. This LH, though, kind of offsetting that. So as we said, kind of mixed. Healthcare is positive, but only just A net over here in the hardware equipment makers, 2.5%. Everything else relatively weak. QCOM as well standing out. SWKS and MCHP as well. Again, 1% ish to the upside. The software makers all pretty much in negative territory. So tech is leading to the downside. This is the industrial group here. Southwest, 3.8%. Delta, UAL, Alaska, all in the red. AAL as well, about 1%. That's Boeing over there, 2.5%. So industrials among the leaders as well in negative territory. So outside of a few here that are standing out, that's Pfizer, if you're wondering. 2% positive for Pfizer today. HRL, there's a couple actually in the consumer staples group looking good. Communication services, far side here. Twitter, 2.4% we saw. LYV and Facebook up about 1%. So individual names kind of standing out strong, but otherwise pretty weak day as expected. 0.5%, guys, to the downside. Back to you.
Yeah, weak and looking a little weaker. Firm hasn't come into that 120 level that I like, but SoFi, I just noticed, right, it got to this wick bottom that it had yesterday when it flushed at the open and turned around the 1625, that low. You go a couple of sessions ago to that Tuesday that wasn't here, and 1610 is this bottom. So I think 16 to 1610 can be your support. I got the quarters to the long side. 26 actually, 1626 is the long. Someone just asking how many hours I sleep on average. It's a random question. I'll get to that in a second if you're interested. I don't know why. AVCT, I finally got a fill there. So I went from like sitting there patiently waiting in GameStop. Now I got SoFi in front of its low of the day. I finally got into that AVCT. First leg, whoops, you don't want a 15-minute chart for $1.40 stock. First leg here at that 141. Gonna jump in front of this 145. Remember I said I'd let it go through 145 and give it a couple of pennies? Because I still think this could be a failed breakout here. The volume's still not gigantic, as you guys can see there. Not a huge volume spike on that break, which a lot of times can be a failed break. I don't want to get trapped into any kind of a reversal or just getting wicked out. So it comes back below 145. I'll add to the position. If it cannot in the next minute or two, I'll just bail on it for a few pennies worth of a hit. We'll see what happens with that Twitter and SoFi, which we just engaged into. And GameStop broke that low of the day. It's right back above 162, of course.
And guys, Apple has life, man. So hopefully we can spin this once we get out. We did average a little bit out here because you know our average price was what, 174.80, something like that. So now you're back into the money. It's adjusted now 174.73. But here goes Apple, man. We took the first bid here at 175.50. The next one at 174.50, roughly. But that's 175.30. That's why my average price 50. Okay, so that's why our average price is 80. All right, so that makes sense. So right now, Apple going back up to the upside. So thank God for that one, man. We'll start barbecuing up some profits. My offer's at 25. There. Now we're net positive on the day. Just unrealized right now, net positive on Apple after that hold. So yeah, let's go back up to the upside for AAPL. Let's see, keep that dream alive now. We are offering 24s. I don't know. Like, again, I'm always trading around these quarters, right? So sometimes it burns me because it gets like right there and stops. So I'm thinking right now, maybe I just change that. But I mean, whatever. It's just a matter of pennies at this point as the market has come right back up. There it is. Am I going to get that 24? Oh, you just saw that. That was right on the offer. Did I get it though? Yes, I did. Okay, thank God. All right, so right there. So there you go. So, you know, trying to be as honest as we can. That offer right there at 24, we actually get filled. So that's a nice win for us, man. Now we are nice. Like I just said, we are now in the money on Apple trading today. So we defend. We give you that 174 break. It broke, but we're not getting out right there. Breaks, we give it a little bit of room there. Nice out. So far, so good here on AAPL. Lucid's holding the bottom, so we're going to wait to see on that one. We still have a 40-60 target there for LCID. Don't give up, guys. You don't have to paper hand anything or some of those kind of talks, but at the same time, you know, you sometimes got to hold out hope, and you can't give small stop. Again, you can, and I know Neil's talked about that today, and I talked about this yesterday. I think you had to stop on Apple. That was like 15 cents, but again, and you talked about that on Twitter again today. You know, your trades have to line up for you, right? And so just be very, very careful. It's like they're on Apple, right? Like my stop was about $1.50 away. So there you go. So there's
PPSI.
Go over to Neil. I didn't even hear what you said. PPSI.
PPSI just broke 12. It looks like it's halting 12.35. I'm on the bid. It's been a while since you're able to get some of these fills when it goes into the halt state. So, you know, it used to be like an actionable trade. Like you see it break out a key level like this. If I'm fast, and I was all over it. Like I'm telling you, man, I was on the bid the second it got to that and looked like it was piling up to go into the halt. but obviously I didn't get anything. You'd see a fill if I did. So breaking the high, they thank you guys for pointing out that it popped over 11, but it's this 12 level. Once it breaks through there, like if it was halting here at like 11.75, I don't love it as much, but when it breaks out of that high and then goes in the halt state, then I want that opening sort of halt trade, catch it out on the open, take half out, roll the rest into an extended trade or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, I'm not going to get it. Looks like it'll probably be a 5-minute halt. You never know. If it doesn't open in 5, then you kind of know it's going to be 10. Otherwise, we're just going to have to wait very patiently. Like I said, I got into some SoFi here at the bottom. It's consolidating. I mean, the futures look like they're trying to make a bit of a low here. So like I said, on Twitter, this is not a 15-cent stop for me. I want to reload in front of VWAP. SoFi, I know my 16 is the out. I think at this point you're getting 1-to-1 at VWAP, so I haven't added to it. I'd like to see it test that 16 if I were to add, but I'm going to have offers out in front of 1650 here. If this is in fact the bottom, SoFi gave me the fill and gave me yesterday's low, whereas the firm is nowhere near the price I wanted. As a matter of fact, I can go ahead and cancel bidding in front of 120. I mean, if on that plunge, if a firm's not going to test 120, I'm probably not getting that fill at any point today. So no need to just have it sitting out there. Sometimes if it's sitting out there too long, by the time you get it, you really, really don't want it. I don't want that happening to me on a firm. Like I said, with Twitter, we have to give this one a little bit more room. If I think on Twitter it's 45 and change, and I want to reload in front of VWAP, it never wants to load for me here, then I want to make sure that I'm not having a tight 15-cent stop. If I think the out is closer to 47.60, well then that's 60 cents away. And I'm thinking about $1.20 for a target out here in front of 46 and then 45 even. So you got to give this one some room. It's an overall reversal on Twitter. I liked it off the top at 48, but I never got the fill. So the next trade was the breakdown. That's what we got.
All right, guys, we are on Apple. Let's go, man. Let's get this 175.70 right now on AAPL. More than $1 now, $1.20 in the money as we sit here waiting for 175.70 right now. I don't know if we're going to get it or not. Maybe I'll just adjust it right here to 58 and just get out some of that. There we go. So now I'll cancel my 70 as we just took it out there at 60. So we're going to hit this. We haven't done this in a while, but if you're enjoying Super Chicken, you know, you may like that one. There it is right there. So nice little move there for Apple, man. We are at the highest spot we've been at all day, man. If we don't have that GameStop trade, then we might be at our best day this month so far here today. But we still have GameStop, and GameStop's actually going to be one of my top stocks here today. I just can't believe we were overexposed straight up, and we meant to be that way. We just didn't think it would test up here. It does. We get punched out at 173, literally the high of the day on GameStop, and now you're fading back in. But so far so good on all of these names, man. $1.20 in the money on Apple. My next out on this one, right back here, 176. Hopefully that can come through. You'll hear me as we go over there. Right now, we are ready to go over to the sweater gang.
Both of them.
So the sweater game is tight.
Same type of sweater.
And right now, these guys are very, very sweatered up. So let's go over here with Justin and Brendan, Team Sweater.
Yeah, we were just discussing what the proper name or title would be for the Sweater Club or Sweater Gang. I like that. It's sweater season around here. So, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. Justin Kozach back with us to discuss a few hot topics, as we do on a daily basis today. We're going to go back to what we were talking about yesterday. First off, I was just watching Facebook here, trying to bounce off 330. Did hold positive on the day, but only just. So nice move initially for Facebook. We were discussing this Instagram visit to the Hill yesterday.
Nice. Yeah,
What came of that?
So Instagram spending the afternoon and closing out the day with a bit of a raucous conversation at the Senate Subcommittee on Consumer Protection, Product Safety, and Data Security. Adam Mosseri getting his hand slapped a little bit, maybe a lot.
Yeah, he looked a little stressed out at some points during that.
He looked, the funny thing was he looked a little bit. He was definitely conciliatory. I think that he definitely recognized that he was like, oh, we kind of screwed this one up a little bit, guys. And he certainly made a lot of interesting concessions and talked a lot about the things that they would like to do. You know,
Right.
one of the things that they mentioned is that Instagram now no longer allows adults to message users under the age of 18,
Right.
Unless they're following them. So there's certainly some changes that they've made to the product. against the backdrop that they're like, okay, we really need to rethink this because we're, the Facebook leaks have kind of thrown a wrench into our plan. So they've also conceded that they are no longer going to develop Instagram. What does this say? That they're no longer
the messaging side.
Right. The Instagram Kids product is still being developed. Yeah. However, they have confirmed that they stopped doing research into 8-year-olds. So I think a lot of that is part of understanding how 8-year-olds or how younger kids use Instagram and social media, likely because they want to develop this larger product to get more kids onto their platform, which makes a lot of sense. They also conceded that they missed the mark on minors setting up profiles on desktop that were set to open, whereas if they create these accounts on the mobile app, they are automatically set to private. Right. So certainly some inconsistencies in terms of how they handle new accounts with minors, but they did say that they are going to increase the number of people doing human review of content. So they have over 40,000 people, employees and engineers doing this, and they invested, apparently, according to Adam Mosseri, they said they invested over $5 billion, with a B, dollars this year in human review and safety on the platform. So I'll have a lot more to talk about that today in the afternoon. Yep. There's a lot more to the story, and certainly this is kind of the high-level view of it.
Yeah, more to come, as per usual, when a company like Facebook goes to Washington for anything along these lines. They're typically given some homework to do when they leave to implement along the way. So more to come on the Instagram story for sure. I saw this story on Amazon this morning when I first sat down and kind of shrugged it off because, I mean, it's 1.3 billion, so it's not a drop in the bucket, but it's Amazon.
Right. So Amazon also getting their hand slapped. Everybody's in trouble this week. Amazon getting their hand slapped by Italy's competition authority to the tune of 1.129 billion euros, or 1.3 billion US, and they are essentially alleging that they abused their market position to get people to push third-party sellers to use their Prime.
Right.
To use fulfillment by Amazon, which gives them some additional benefits around being able to participate in Prime Day and Black Friday and Cyber Monday by giving them that Prime label. Everybody who goes on to Amazon, and I've done this in the past, if I see that there's a Prime next day delivery, of course I'm going to go for that. But unfortunately, what I didn't realize is that in some countries, particularly Italy, you have to participate in Fulfilled by Amazon in order to get that. So it's not something that you can automatically get by default. So they're saying, well, you've abused your market authority, and so we're going to hit you with a big fine. So Amazon, they're Italy's shopping cart, pretty full on that one. So going to be interesting to see what happens now. And I wonder too, is that going to change? Is that going to be looked into in other countries? In the United States, Canada, and other parts of Europe as well. So certainly a lot of competition authorities in other countries looking at this case and saying, is this something that's happening here as well? So this story, I think, could kind of blow up a little bit.
I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I was talking to somebody about that. They almost need a feature on when you search for something to sort by Prime, like the ones that are available. Maybe they even have that. I'm not sure.
I think they do have that. I'm pretty sure
I've never actually used that, but that would be a great idea because I'm exactly the same. If there's Prime available, obviously you're going to take the one that comes faster, right?
Right. Absolutely.
New bank. We've been talking about New Holdings is the corporate title, I guess, for this company, but. 2.6 billion raised on this IPO, coming to market around 41.5 billion market cap. That's nothing to laugh at.
Right, you buy a lot of sweaters for that money. So Nubank raising 2.6 billion in an IPO yesterday, and Warren Buffett throwing in
today, actually.
Or sorry, today, not yesterday. Warren Buffett throwing in quarter or $500 million, just whatever, throw that one in, just chump change. So throwing in for that one, and they're listed as Latin America's largest bank now. So going to be interesting to see how that one goes.
It's a neobank as well. So online only. There's no brick and mortar, which is, I guess, the way of things are kind of going in the technology world that we live in. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's a big market cap. It's a big market. Obviously, they're based in Brazil, but operate throughout Latin America, so lots of different countries service. But NU, guys, we are still awaiting. I'm just having a look right now. It's still indicating 9. So total volume about 1.6 million paired at this point. So it could be a while, but Should be interesting once we get it open. Justin will be back with us again this afternoon at TraderTV Justin on Twitter. Join the conversation. Let us know what you would like to know more about, and then he'll look it up for you. That's what we do. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Brendan.
Guys.
Thank you very much.
Right.
PPSI just opened. Like, the timing on that was pretty insane. PPSI just opened back up at 13. It looks like 13.35 or so. Saying the indicated open was close to that, but actually opened even higher. Testing 15 even just now. Like, it's all air up here, guys. Like, there's nothing that you can look at on the daily chart. You're just talking about 15. You're talking about 17.50, and I think $20 are going to be the levels. At this point, now that it's halted once to the upside and continues to run, I mean, 8 cents, 9 cents a share for me to pay for locates. I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm not jumping in front of it. I want to see a failed break more than anything else. While that was going on, that AVC, just going to clean up some of the of what we're into. AVCT, we said we'd let it break 145. This is your failed break of that level. It took 145 on the way back down. Current price is 144 as an average because I did get some shares there at 141. I took some shares out in front of VWAP. I have bids in front of the current low of the day, and then we'll see if we can hold on to it. Twitter's flat, that short. SoFi is flat, but on the move here is that PPS. GameStop obviously still holding that 162 as well level, but I want that short almost all day long. PPSI looks crazy. I don't know when NU is going to open up, but the theoretical open price is still the $9 issue. Like, they haven't even adjusted it, and the imbalance has only gotten bigger. It's almost 2 million shares of a buy imbalance there.
I mean, we're pretty happy, man. We are just straight chilling and spinning this right now. I mean, Apple right here at $1.80 now in the money on Apple, and we averaged in, so was the biggest position of Apple I've had this month for sure. I mean, the month is early, but there we go. Apple right up to the upside. Tick, 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 tick. So we still got that one. $1.60 now in the money on AAPL, our last out right here at 176. We did take, when it did make a move down to 175, it popped back to VWAP, and I was sitting there at 175.50. So that should have been 70, but I did bump it down there. So we do give up 20 cents on part there. We don't have any negative stocks today. Nothing. GameStop positive, everything. So these are the stocks we traded today. We'll just do a quick recap. Apple, positive name there. Ford, I mean, do we have to say anything else for Ford right now? We'll just do walking on water for this one, man. This is all over the sticky note. We get one fill here, and we just milk this thing. We're at the day's low right now for Ford. We talked about shorting that through 20, so that's a stock right there. GameStop, unbelievable that this is still my number one stock, considering I got that out. That should show you the kind of shares that we're trading there on GameStop, as now it's $8, $9 in the money. I don't even have any bids out on that one. Lucid, again, position pending here, but we are out of the money. 4 cents right now on Lucid, so we'll wait to see. Positive name anyways, net positive of all the trades so far here today for Lucid. In there, out, 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 in, out, out, out. Average. Now we wait to see. 40-40 is our next play on that one, and that's it. So I think it's 4 or 5 names today. No negatives, with position pending, of course, with Lucid. And my out's going to be around 39.70 or so here for Lucid if it does fail. I mean, I could get out right now and put that perfect on the board, but we want to go higher than this. It's been a fantastic day, man. I don't know if we have earnings. I guess we do not. But why don't we throw Miss V back on the screen and see if we can get a few more likes in here right now, because we're only at 1.9K, Miss V. Let's see if we can get that to 2,000 real quick.
Yes, guys, just 100 more likes needed for 2,000. So please double check if you like this video. And again, if you just joined us, kind reminder, please smash the like button. Back to you.
So there are a few earnings. I don't know if we want to talk about it on the board there, but a few that I'm interested in at least one of them because I own shares of it. I know you probably like one or two, but we'll go to Brendan here. One name, if you can't guess it, it's Old Tech. It's on the board. Brendan, earnings.
My screen is not working, but Miss V has it for us, guys. So we'll go to her screen, and there we go. Tonight and tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. I mean, well, if you couldn't guess, it's Oracle. I was talking about, not Broadcom. Costco, man, there's another. You saw the retailers. You saw what happened to Walmart and Target the other day, man. Costco, if that happens, that'll be a buying opportunity. And I was assuming maybe you were interested in Chewy. I'm sort of guessing there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't. I mean, I'm interested in Chewy, but I haven't really gotten back into that one since that IPO. So we'll wait for that. We're well in the money on Chewy. I'm just really focused on Lucid right now. For me, Lululemon in there is going to be a big one, as we are, a decent holder of Nike as well. And I just, you know, again, Intel had that big bump up the other day, and now it's right back down. So just be careful with that Cisco. I know their last report was pretty bad, but I actually didn't even looked at Cisco lately. I mean, was it Oracle or Cisco on that board? Was it Cisco? I don't remember.
It was Oracle.
It was Oracle. Oh, okay. So yeah, I like Oracle. Yeah, I was going to say.
See, now you're having me question it. Like, did I read it wrong?
No. You just said old tech, and I thought in my head it was going to be Cisco, but I guess it was Oracle there. Oracle's been doing fine as well, but okay, we'll see. You know, again, look at this drop off of
Cisco
I believe
was
all-time highs.
Yeah.
Oracle coming tomorrow. Honestly, guys, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about all these old names right now in this environment. So let's wait to see. You know, it could get a buying opportunity down to 84, but whatever. It's faded out. I mean, a lot of these tech names have faded, except for, of course, the biggest and the baddest of them all, Apple, right now. Okay, I see you now, Lucid. Lucid taking off now, so we're back into the money on this trade. Well, we were. It's right here at 40.30. It was a big day for us, man. I don't know. We didn't even do what day it was yet, did we?
We didn't do the national day. We got to get it done before. I don't know why we're so far back, but it's fine. These things happen. We're waiting on NU, and it's not going to open up until probably tomorrow. Ms. V, what national day before we get out of here?
Hey Neil and hey guys, I hope you're having a great day so far. Thank you very much for 2,000 likes, for all the nice comments, and for your super chat. We appreciate your support a lot. Join me and Trader Pratt to continue trading at Memes and Movers, and happy National Pastry Day, everyone.
All pastries.
Yeah,
okay.
That's good, man.
Croissants are fantastic.
Today's National Lucid
chocolate
Day.
eclairs, whatever you want, man. Like it's you can't go wrong with just about any pastry. Although if you have a weakness for them, which I do, then you have to be disciplined about it. I do not go into Tim Hortons, otherwise I come out with an apple fritter. 100% of the time in the last probably 10 years, I've not been in a single store without it. We need to get you over to you know who. They probably get to trade NU. It's Trader Pratt and Miss V.
Yeah, go Lucid.
Welcome back to Trader Pratt and Miss V, who's right now running across the whole world. Ooh, Usain Bolt. What's up, Speedy Gonzalez?
Hi guys, I'm here. Who's running? Big studio we have. Yeah, so
Speedy Gonzalez over here.
Right. So guys, welcome back to Memes and Movers. Please be active on the chat as usual. Smash the like button and ask